Live. So we are live here, guys. Hope you are doing good. We have now here Christian Casanova and emerging day game coach and the younger generation in the day game. So Christian Casanova, what we say, welcome to my stream and explain a bit about yourself to my audience, a bit how the things are in your life and everything.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you. I mean, yeah, first and foremost, I just wanted to say thank you for having me on here because I'll be completely transparent. I was completely unaware who you were before you sent the invitation out to me. And after getting to know you a little bit more and find out what you've done, like your history of all of this, yeah, I just wanted to honor you and just say thank you, to be honest, for reaching out in the first place because it certainly nice for me to receive that sense of validation in a way, right, from someone who's been in this game much longer than I have. For you to say, "Oh, I've seen your stuff and I like it," that's important to me. I think I'd be lying if I said I didn't want validation from people. I think anyone who makes a YouTube channel is by nature a narcissist, and you want to receive validation, right? You want to receive public approval from the masses. So yeah, to have that was just a nice hit of validation for me. So yeah, I just wanted to start by saying that. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know me, Kristian Kasanova, that's the handle that I like to go by. I like alliteration, so it seems to work. It's like the Kardashians, but I don't have a jacuzzi. So yeah, I mean, I've been doing Daygame now for 2.5 years. Before I got involved in this wonderful world, I was a magician since the age of 13. So I taught
Magician.
myself, yeah, magician, yeah. I taught myself how to perform magic at the age of 13 because I had
Mhm.
atrocious social skills, like I think most people do when they're 13 years old. But being an only child and coming from a dysfunctional family, like I was even scared to talk to my own family members when they came around to my house for like dinner. I just run upstairs and I wouldn't want to
Mhm.
speak to anybody. So I made a decision at 13 years old that I didn't want to remain that way. So I taught myself how to perform magic via YouTube videos. And then
Mhm.
I would go around parks in the Lake District and cold approach people to perform magic. So
Okay.
my cold approach career started there. And I think that's why I was able to make rapid progress with this because I've been cold approaching people since I was 13 years old, albeit
Ah.
for albeit for magic purposes, but it's still the same thing. Like I was overcoming approach anxiety at like 13, 14. Like I was having my days where I'd go around, like I tried to go into like my town center. So like my town is like 60,000 people at the most, right? I'd go into my town center, there'd be like 5 people there, right? And I would feel what we now know as the spotlight effect, right? I wouldn't even be able to get the pack of cards out of my pocket because I was like, oh, these people are going to think I'm weird if I'm trying to perform magic like on a Monday afternoon. Like it's just weird, right? So I was overcoming that. I didn't know what any of this stuff was. I didn't know what approach anxiety was. I didn't know what the spotlight effect was. I just didn't know any of it. But I was teaching myself and getting through it. And now for me, that's why I'm able to work with guys and get them to where they actually want to be because I see my 13-year-old self in them. Like all the trials and tribulations that you go through at a young age when you've got no fucking idea what you're doing. The guys who I work with, they're usually 30 years old or older. Like I see my younger self in them. And I think that's why I'm able to actually empathize with them and get them to where they actually want to be. So yeah, that's the elevator pitch.
So you started like cold approaching and like doing the magic thing and with 13 and then maybe few years and then when you decided like okay like switch to day game and like approach girls or something like that,
Yeah.
you were having issues in meeting girls or how it
Well,
happened? You
I didn't I started day game when I was 23 years old. Okay.
okay.
So I was a magician. That was my job. Eventually it became my job where I made a career out of magic. So I would perform around the
Ah.
country, I had international shows. My magic business got wiped out by COVID, right? So when COVID happened, I lost pretty much everything that I built. But the thing that I didn't lose was the skills and the character that I'd built, right? I knew that my social skills were better than anybody else that I've ever met, right? I knew my social skills were good because I was building them for 10 years. And then I remember I was sat on my apartment floor in Leeds in the UK in this grotty apartment, which is where I used to make a lot of my videos. If you go back into my older videos, they're all filmed in this grotty apartment in Leeds. I looked very different back then as well. So, I mean, that's another story. However, I was lying on the floor, feeling sorry for myself, and went onto YouTube, as you usually do when you feel depressed as shit. And this video popped up from the Natural Lifestyles. And it was James Marshall infield. I think he was in Barcelona or New York, one of them. And I was watching him do his thing. So I was aware of like pickup and game. Like I was aware of this stuff, like when I was like 18. But I always just used to think it was weird, right? I was always like, oh, pickup artist, cringy, sleazy, don't want to do that. Then I saw James Marshall do it, and it completely changed my perspective on it. I was like, oh, this seems like a relatively normal gentleman. He's going around, he's doing his thing. Like, it's James Marshall, isn't it? So he does his thing. And like when I saw him do it, that then ignited something within me, which was like, if he's doing it, I can do it as well. Because I saw like his like student infields, and you're vicariously living through them, and they're shit scared to approach, and you're like, go on, mate, you can do it. I'm rooting for you. And this was like in the height of the pandemic in the UK as well. So like you couldn't really go outside. But like on the news, they were like, right, in a month, you're going to be able to like go outside. So I was consuming content like an absolute animal. Like I was just like day game content, like nonstop, like during the pandemic. And as soon as they said to us, right, you can leave your house now, I was just like a possessed savage. Like there wasn't even like that much hesitation, if I'm being honest with you, because I had all just this pent up energy. I knew I had the skills. I knew I had the experience. And I also knew, I think this is important for guys who are listening, I also knew that I had the character to get through the rejections, right?
Okay.
Because I'd been rejected millions of times before performing magic. I used to go around working men's clubs in Liverpool in the UK. If you don't know Liverpool, it's a decent city, but there are places I would advise that you never ever go to. So I'd go around these working men's clubs in Liverpool. I'd approach tables of drunk guys in their 60s, be like, "All right, gentlemen, can I show you some magic?" And the traditional response was, "No, fuck off," right? It doesn't get much more. That's a rejection, right? That is a rejection, right? And most guys won't ever experience a rejection as harshly as that. When you're putting yourself out there, they take one look at you and they're just like, no, fuck off. So I knew that I could put myself through the social fire and not get affected by it. And I think if guys want to actually excel with, let's say, Daygame, you need to be a savage, right? You need to have built a bulletproof character, in my opinion, before you get started with this. Now, yeah, you can try and build your character through cold approach itself. However, I would, because for example, guys who I work with, they work in sales, right? So they're used to getting no's. They understand that it's called game for a reason. If you don't play, you won't win. So it's just like knocking on doors, right? You might get 99 no's at the start. One person says yes, and you sell like a £10,000 product, right? But for the complete beginner who's not built his character through alternative means, I actually think cold approach is the worst thing you can do, because you're getting rejected by the feminine, right? And that hurts, because when I'm getting rejected by working men in Liverpool, I'm getting rejected by guys. I don't care about that. But when you're getting rejected by women, right? Because like, you know, biologically, if you were to get rejected in the caveman days, it would have meant your DNA wasn't worthy of replication.
Yeah.
So we take that more, right? But because I already understood the process, that no's, okay, it's just a no, whatever. I personally think it's a mistake that guys make, where they think, right, I'm just going to be able to do 100 approaches and the no's from the women are not going to affect me. They will 100% affect you if you've not built a solid character first. So just to end on a practical point, if you haven't yet got a solid character, build it. Start building it today. The best way you can do it, start doing things that terrify you as consistently as possible, right? Having daily cold showers is a great start. You're throwing yourself into an uncomfortable situation and you're marinating in a lot of resistance because you don't want to do it. And then let's say, okay, you do want a cold approach. Just go out and tell like middle-aged ladies that they look beautiful, all right? Because you're overcoming resistance, but it's not as difficult as it is to approach like an absolute 10 and her to be like, fuck off. So yeah, building your character, also working in sales really helps as well. But yeah, that's yeah.
So I think like, yeah, I mean, like this is something also interesting. When you get, for example, rejected with guys or in the business or anything else,
Hmm.
or then it is less hurtful. But when it comes to when you're getting rejected by the girls, that is more hurtful, and that is really hurting the ego, because that enforce that belief. Um, in the people in the guys, that they are not attracted, they are not attractive, they are not attractive.
Hmm.
And when you, okay, like that's why, like if you are getting rejected again and again, that's like sometimes the guys cannot come out of it, and they fall into this black pill and like these kind of
Right.
things, and which is even more hurtful, more damaging than like um, getting do fight for this thing, if you are not getting laid or something. And so this is correct, like it is more hurtful for guys when they are rejected by girls, uh, compared to, for example, you fail in the business, or you want deal with someone in the
Mhm.
business deal, and he rejected you, or as you told, like in your magic business, when you were rejected by the guys, it was not hurtful, but when you're approaching and rejected by the girls, it is more hurtful, which is 100% correct, actually.
Yeah, and I would say as well, just I think this is an important point that I don't really hear that many people talking about, but I think it's really important to ask yourself what you actually want from this, right? And what I mean by that is most people just give the surface level answer, right? So if I'm on a consultation with a consultation call with a guy who's applying to work with me, one of the first questions I'll ask him is, what do you actually want, right? What do you actually want to get from working with me, right? And every time it's this surface level response where, oh, I just want to be a little bit more confident. I want to get a few more girls. I want to feel better about myself. And it's like, no, no, no. Like, that's not why we're actually here, right? That's the surface level
Hmm.
reason. The reason that we're here is because you've got deep rooted pain that you want to solve. You're not here just because you want a little bit more information. You're here because you've got thoughts that are keeping you awake at night and you want to alleviate this pain before it becomes too difficult to break, right? And the reason that guys want to do is, to be honest, like the reason that guys do anything, right? Why you get the flashy car, the nice watch, luxurious holiday, the fucking penthouse in Malibu, it's to receive love from the feminine, right? That's it. If you understand this one thing, it will set you free because it's to receive love from the feminine. Someone said that to me 2 years ago, and I wasn't ready to receive it, right? He said to me, he's like my life mentor now. He said to me, Kristian, everything people do is to be loved, right? And when I was hearing that, I was just in, my fucking high testosterone days, just like, yeah, just want to get laid, whatever. I was like, fuck off, mate. Like, love, what are you on about? It doesn't matter. But now, after I've developed myself and actually having spent time with a lot of guys around the world and helped them through their own stuff, you're wanting to do this and you want to do everything in your life because you want to receive love from the feminine, because you're petrified of being lonely, because you're scared that maybe your presence doesn't mean something to anybody. You want to feel important. You want to receive admiration, validation, and veneration, not just from women, but from guys as well, right? Like guys get into great shape, not just to get girls, but also to impress other men, right? It's that respect thing. It's like, oh, you're looking good, bro. Like, you're doing well. It's like, but when you understand that everything that you do is to receive that love, then for me anyway, this light bulb went off, and I was like, wait, how am I even going to receive this if I'm a crushingly cruel commentator to myself, right? Like self adoration or self love, that will set you free. That will get you more girls than you've ever wanted. You'll make more money. You'll escape the 9 to 5. However, you deem success, it all comes from the relationship that you have with yourself. And it took me 2.5 years to actually realize this, but I can speak from my own experience where now I've got to a place, and I have my good days, I have my bad days. Sometimes I think I'm an absolute piece of shit, whatever, I'm human. But now I've got to a place where I actually understand that it's just to receive love from the feminine. You just want, for a lot of guys, they just want to be wanted, right? They just want to be wanted. They want a best friend. They want a best friend who they can have sex with, right? They just want to have a little kiss and a cuddle at nighttime, and it feels nice, right? They're getting that nice, nourishing energy from the feminine. And once I actually understood this, and once I understood that there's no one stopping me apart from me, and it's a relationship that I have with myself that dictates the reality that I live, everything changed for me. And now I can honestly say, 26 years old, I know like there'll be guys listening to this, maybe they're in the 40s, like, oh, what does this fucking know? Like, he's only 26. I accept that. Like, I've got the awareness of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean,
Go on.
hmm. So yeah, it's right, like correct. In like the lot of guys come like for the coaching calls and all. When this also sometimes they say like I want to get some confidence and all the skills and all. At the end, like when I go deeper, then they say like they want to yeah, like girlfriend or something. In my views, like 95% of the guys, like they're like emotionally healthy guys on the right, emotional part is working. There are some other type of guys, like I will say 5% of this population, they will be slightly different, but they want to get loved. You are correct. And at the end, like somebody comes in the game in the start, even for me also, when you come in the game and you want to go on like this sex rampage, you get the skills and you go on like um, in Germany, in Berlin, like I did a lot of crazy stuff all over the world actually. And then like you get slow down, and sometimes normally the guys they come, they learn the game, and they get like, okay, they're getting laid, and after that they want like a relationship, and they are slowing down, want relationship. And uh, end goal is like majority of the time, end goal is, I will say 100% of the time, like when we remove that 5% people, but end goal is always like they want to have a girl who is loving them for who they are, not for their money, not for their like all this stuff. um, and that's why sometimes I see like when you are getting girls through game, through your personality, through your character, charisma, you are filtering out the girls who want you for your money or for your like high status. I mean, high status is I won't mind like people have high status. It's good, but sometimes you attract a different type of girls also. Then you have to vet them. Like so the like I got the girls. Like I'm not on job center now, but in the old days I was on job center. I don't know, like you have in UK also some social benefit
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
system.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
lost my job.
Universal credit it's called now. I was on that about 5 years ago. I had £24.82 to my name.
Yeah, so I lost my job. I was like so much I will not say obsessed, but I have a personality that if I'm not getting success, I don't like deviate that, okay, this is something missing in me, then I have to get this handled. What happened, like a lot of guys come in the game and they're not getting laid, and then what happens? Oh, you have to do self-help, you have to do this thing, focus on making money, focus. Dude, I'm working in Volkswagen IT consultant. What, how much more money I will make? So I should get laid. If I was not getting laid, and it was like getting issue, and then trying like what works, tried like many boot camps, it didn't work out. And then I was so much like kind of like stressed out. My performance in job just like goes down, and I lost my job. And then I in this, like in Germany, we have a bit better social security system, I guess, better than UK, definitely. So you can really like you can really live without doing any job the whole life if you trick the government. So but that was not the issue with me. I really literally wanted to get late. So then I decided, like instead of like searching a new job again, first get this thing handled, because I cannot just ignore this fact that I'm not getting laid and again going back to the new job. Like let first, and then I spent like a lot of time in like researching and going out and everything. And I started to get laid. I had like multiple girlfriends, um, uh, and was having no money actually. And all the girls I was getting, I still get, in the sense they were. I'm talking about like 10 years ago, 2013, 14. So uh, I remember I in my apartment, like girls came and then they go, and I was just cooking some food at home, and going to some McDonald's, or like for a walk or something. Nothing special, but it was your personality, your charisma, your character. I built up, and that got me many girls, and they got hooked also with me in relation. And that's something like, every guy need to develop that kind of personality, that kind of charisma when they are coming in game. And then the money part is, when the money part is added, when you build your career and everything, that will help you. But now you can keep the girl because of you don't need money for keeping the girl. Of course, like when you're going for, you are leveling up, then all these things matters also, of course. But the building that character, that personality, that is very important in my views.
Yeah, we've definitely got different opinions about this because I agree, build your character. But to be honest, this is purely my perspective. I just don't see why you would want to be living that life, right? I don't see why you would not want to have money. I don't see why you would not want to have a successful career. I don't see why you would not want to go through the process of developing yourself first before you actually do this. Like, this is like purely my perspective, but I'm always saying to guys, in the ideal world, in my opinion, if you actually want to get results from this and actually have good mental health along the way as well, so you're not just living in absolute squalor and you can't even afford dates for girls. The goal for every man should to become the most fuckable version of himself, and then simply use game as a means of delivering the value that he's built to the world, right? Because I'm sure there will be guys who listen to this, listen to what you said, and I don't disagree or agree with it, whatever. They'll listen to it and they'll think they don't have to try. All they need is game, and game trumps all. I think that is the biggest pile of horseshit that comes out of this industry, where game trumps all. You just need to learn the lines, get a better personality or whatever, and the girls will come to you. I don't subscribe to that in the slightest. For me, every man should do whatever is within his power to look and feel as good as he can look. And I actually think day game or cold approach should be the last thing that you focus your attention on. I think you should have a stable career. I think you should have built a decent body so you're actually in shape. I think you should have built good social skills before you even consider putting yourself in front of girls, because this is the hardest thing that guys will ever do. And I think the rejections are easier to stomach when you know in yourself you've actually got value to give. If I didn't have any value at the moment, didn't have any money, I was still on universal credit like I was, and I didn't have anything going for me, I would just see it as a complete waste of time to be going out there and approaching girls, because I didn't feel complete in myself. And I think when you're operating from a place of wholeness rather than from a place of lack, that's when you win. But I respect that stance that you have. It's just not the way that I go about it.
I will explain you what I mean to say clearly. So the thing is, when I was not getting results, I was having a good career. I was like almost reaching to the senior IT consultant in Volkswagen, and I was like, for that standard, I was earning like 52K euros, which is, I mean, now you will get much more after 10 years, but at that time it was really good. I was above average earning in Germany. I was above average in income scale. So everything was, career was good. I was going to gym and everything was fine. I mean, like, what else I needed to do? So what I mean to say here is this: like, some guys, like, they IT guys, doctor, engineers, and they build the career and all, and they think that they're. I was having this option at that time. Listen, okay, I work more on my career. I can become, I have to, I study like, or certification, and I become senior consultant. So maybe from 52K, maybe I will get 65K. Yeah. uh, and will it achieve my goal? That's the question I was thinking to myself, saying to myself, will it achieve my goal? I spend all my weekend studying, further studies, and will it achieve my goal? Then I say, I need to find an evidence that if I do something, then that will achieve my goal. So we had a project leader, we say team leader, in well, sometimes use German word, team leader. And he was senior and team leader. He was earning 65K. And uh, and I asked, like, how the things are going in his dating life, because I became like very friendly with everyone in my team. And he said, like, yeah, um, he was 43 at that time. Yeah, my girlfriend left me, and then I meet started to meet. My girlfriend left me, and now the guy who banged her, he don't want her, and now she's coming back to me. And then he said that he don't want her, and now I said like, so now what you're doing? So he said like, there is a website. In the old days we had like this parship.de. So I'm like writing a girl on parship.de. 6 months, when then we meet, she's 38, and now like, I'm together. And so, are you happy? And he said, yeah, it's okay, like, so then I said to myself, like, if I choose his path of like building career more and everything, will I get success? I said no. I have to admit that I'm not getting results, and I have to fucking solve this problem now. So that's what I mean. Some guys, what you're saying, like, maybe what you're saying is for the guys who are in younger 20s, but still, in your case also, I will still suggest the guys that they should also focus on they should focus on building career and everything, but they should focus on getting like also they have to give few years of time and solve this issue, that they can, if a guy, listen, this is very important, if a young guy can get the confidence that I can go out in the club or in the street and all, I can get laid, then the tension from his mind will go away, and then he can focus better on the business and the career and everything. There was a one guy from Canada. I will release his documentary soon. He came to me and he said that, yeah, I saw your infield videos, and then we did the boot camp in Berlin. He got like, he pulled the girl in the boot camp, and then he went back to Canada, and then he got laid, and he went on like sex rampage all over the Europe also, and he was sending me the pictures of the girls he's getting laid. And then after like 1 year, I asked him, like, how the things are going on, and he told me that he is doing some day trading course. Now he's completely focused on making, he said, now I want to go the next level, because uh, now he's not thinking about oh, I will get laid, oh, maybe I will get laid or not get laid. He met me, and the stress tension is gone. He solved this issue. He said that he go out, he knows that he can get laid, but he don't want to go out now. He want to completely focus on career, and he want to make millions. Then he started this day trading course, and he went to this, and he's quite successful in his doing what he's doing, day trading. He was IT consultant, now I think he's completely in this day trading, and he's making millions. So in that way, I think that if a guy able to sort out this issue, that in his mind, that he can get laid, and then he's focusing on, you know um, uh, what we say, then he's focusing on building career path or these things and everything, then it is much better, in my views. If you know, there is a like Osho, there is a spiritual guru in the old days, like Osho. He told, like, I've not been into it very deep, but he said that, because you want to do meditation but you're thinking about sex all the time, then you cannot focus. Then do the sex first. Get this out of, what we say, from the table. Get the sex out. After sex, you can focus much more. You enjoy much more. You can focus much more on meditation, because now you have no stress or tension is going on. He was a controversial figure, but there's something like, I will say.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The stance I was taking was, if a guy has literally got nothing going on in his life, he's out of shape, he is still living with his parents, he's got atrocious social skills, and he's got no plans for the future, it's a complete waste of time for this man to be doing day game. He needs to get his life handled first. I'm not saying that he needs to be on Paris Fashion Week, be a Men's Health cover model, or be some rip-roaringly successful entrepreneur, but you do need to get the basics in check, right? And I think for a lot of guys who stumble into this, very lonely guys who just want to be wanted, they do think that day game is a cheat code into the sexual marketplace, and they get brainwashed by the brain dead into believing that game trumps all. Game is a fantastic thing to do. I think any self-respecting man should be able to go over to a woman who he finds attractive and start a conversation. But there are guys who will follow this content and they simply just don't have any value to give yet. Now, I agree with your point that, look, I was 23 when I started this. My main currency in the sexual marketplace was my charisma, right? I was getting girls who on paper I shouldn't have got, in my opinion, because my social skills were so good, because I'd built this bulletproof character after spending 10 years developing it, right? The guy who I worked with in Warsaw, Ephraim, he's 23 years old. He's got his career on point. He's a programmer. He's making over 100K a year already. He'd worked in sales previously, so he was used to getting rejected, getting the no's. All he needed was reps. All he needed was volume, because he'd built the rest of the stuff at the back end. Now, Daygame could be exactly what it needed to be for him. And hopefully, for a lot of the guys who are listening to this as well, guys who've already built up some value in their lives, it's simply a means of delivering that value to the world. But I agree. Because the thing that he said to me was interesting and resonates with what you said. He said to me, now he's got the women's side of things handled, he can actually focus on what actually matters. So now he can spend time with his family. He's not going to be in his head thinking, where's his next meal coming from, right? He's able to now know, because this is an important thing as well. He's now in the abundance mindset, right? But abundance isn't always having, it's knowing you can have, right? There's a nuance.
You can get, yeah.
It's a distinction, right? The guy who knows how to hunt will never be scared of going hungry, because he's got the skills to acquire.
Yes.
People think that abundance is always having. It's not that. If I was to go to Tasmania tomorrow and know nobody, no girls, no network, I wouldn't feel needy, because I've got the skills to acquire. And I think that's the greatest superpower for any guy of learning Daygame. Once you have got, once you're like a 5 out of 10, I would say, across the board, the way you look, there's a difference between being good looking and looking good. I used to like absolute horse shit. Look at my older videos. Like, if you're like a 5 out of 10 finances, 5 out of 10 looks, 5 out of 10 social skills, then fucking good luck to you. You'll do well with Daygame. But there are a lot of guys who are like a 2 out of 10 at best across the board, who need to level up first, even if it's going to take like 3 months, right? You can do a lot in a month just to get to that threshold where it's actually realistic of them to get results. And final thing I'll say is, if you are a young guy, leverage your relative value. This is how I got points on the board early on in my career. When I started, I was 23 years old. It was during the pandemic in Leeds in the UK, which is a big university city, right? So I was realistic with myself. I was like, listen, mate, you are not going to be able to pull the absolute tens with where you're at in your life right now. You've hardly got that much value to give on a relative scale at 23 years old. So I was just pulling university students. If you're a young guy and you've got a decent amount of social skills too, yeah, best thing you can do, go around the university campuses, because you're able to leverage relative value. Because the guys that the 18, 19-year-old is spending time with are the clueless students who are eating pot noodles, right? So you'll instantly stand out relative to what she's used to. You can even go abroad to somewhere like where I was in Warsaw, right? I know you're going there soon. If you go into Warsaw, massive student population, you're able to not only leverage your relative value, you're also able to leverage the foreign factor as well. Oh, this is an exotic guy who I don't usually come into contact with. Ephraim, the guy who was coaching, he's a 5'9" black guy, right? He absolutely killed it in Warsaw because he was leveraging relative value of rarity, right? Before we met up, he was like, oh, I'm really not sure. He had the self-limiting beliefs. I'm really not sure how the women are going to respond to me. I'm literally the only black guy here. And just a simple reframe that I give to him, being like, mate, those looks that you're getting, they're not indicators of disinterest. They are indicators of interest. They're looking at you because you're rare. Like, the reason gold is so valuable is because it's rare. So you're going into these conversations and your looks are the open. The fact that you're so violently differentiated, you're going to get results. And he absolutely cleaned up. Like, he was in like multiple figures in terms of the girls that he actually ended up getting with within our 4 weeks together. And I think it's just a simple mindset shift. But yeah, if you're a young guy, leverage your relative value. Go have fun with the students.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're young, then you have a leverage of looks also, because it is easy to maintain looks when you are young, because your metabolism is like really good. Once you like getting older, then it's tough. So you can literally get good when you're younger, because the looks part is on your favor. definitely. Older you get, it's gonna get tougher and tougher because your metabolism, like for me, like I will be 45 this year, so I definitely see like I have to put much more effort compared to when I was in early 30s or something. Like in 20s, I didn't even care what I was eating. So definite. But I started game with 31. Actually, started game with quite late. So I was still like fine, but now I see like you have to put more effort. So if younger the guy is, they can get results quicker because the looks part is
Yeah,
definitely on their.
yes and no. I looked absolutely atrocious at 23 years old. Against the guys watching, look back at my older videos. I really do think that, and look, you've got more experience in life than I do. I might be chatting out my ass, but I'll say it anyway because what I believe. I truly think that if you dedicate yourself to yourself and you actually put the reps in, right? If you're older, fine, I accept that. But mate, I see, like, I saw you did an interview with the guy, the bulldog mindset bloke, right? Him, yeah? Like, he's looking spectacular now, right? And he looks way better than he did in his 20s. So, yeah, point being, like, I don't really think age, like, unless you're like 60 years old, whatever, I do think that the way you look is a product of the decisions that you make day by day. And like I say, I look way better now than I did at 23. I would like to think when I get to, let's say, 35, I'm going to look better than I do now. So I don't know. I think it's a mindset thing. I think
I
it,
tell you,
go on.
that with like the how it will be like you're 26, so till 35 it will be fine. When you start to reach like 37, 38, you start to see. I was doing, I mean, it is all fine. He's on TRT actually, so that is definitely a game changer for the older guys. So I say like 35 is still like you can, everything is fine, but with 37, when you start to touching the 40s, then you start to see like the way the effort you have to put in the earlier time, now you have to put more effort, then now you have to put more strict in diet, everything. So it will start to get slightly tougher. I can still get it. It's not like I'm not like for my age. I have started to go to gym due to some health. I was not doing it. Now I have started, so I will get back in shape. Uh, um, so you can still do it, but you have to be more disciplined in the later stages. So I say like if you sort out like earlier, then it will be good. But if you are starting it late in 40s, it is still, you can still get it. It is not like you cannot get the results and everything. Younger you are, the more maybe like when you started, you didn't use you now you have like focusing on very much on looks maxing and everything part of the things. If you would have known it earlier, you would have started. But now these days, like 17, 18-year-old guys are also doing this looks maxing thing. So they can, when you are aware of what you're doing. Actually, when I was learning game, I didn't aware the looks matters. The looks matters concept, I mean, I knew these things, but I was so much on the game, so I have some infield, I look like really rare, like when I see, I say like, what the fuck? I'm
Oh,
looking so
same,
shit.
mate. Same.
But I was like, I was pulling girls at that time,
Yeah.
and at that time it was the game. The game level was definitely like very high. Then I did experiment. There was in the old days we had this. I don't know if you know this guy GLL, good looking loser. You don't know.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was
No, I've
the
heard. Yeah, yeah, I've heard of him.
that was the main guy. What we say, who bring the concept of looks maxing. Actually, people don't know about it, but he came in 2012, and uh, me and my other friend, we were having argument that I said like he bring this concept of basic guy game and escalation and everything, really like good things also in this community. So one day I decided like, okay, I'm doing game. When I was teaching guys, so what happened was like some guys, like some 19-year-old German guy, like tall, 6 feet two, and I am teaching him resistance, how to deal with the resistance. He just stand in front of the girl. I said like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, he don't need my game. I mean, it is very easy for him. Then I started to think like, okay, the looks do part play game in this pickup. Um, not everyone need that level of game. Some then I teach him like simple basic guy game approach and like approach, lead, close, escalate and close, and it worked for him. And then I did, okay, let's do it on my. So later I started like focusing on my diet and everything, and I saw like when I improved my like this the, controlled my fat and like looking better. I definitely saw that with the same level of game I can get even higher quality of girls, way higher quality of girls. That definitely I saw. So
Yeah. Just to people watching this, because I was in this situation myself 2.5 years ago where I genuinely looked like shit, and whenever people would say looks matter, it would always like hurt me slightly because like, oh fuck, like I'm gonna miss out here. Massive difference between being good looking and looking good. That's what you need to understand. There is a huge difference between being good looking and looking good, and it is within any man's power to improve upon what he's got. And we've all got a genetic baseline that we're working with, right? Every single one of us has. But the way you win is not by complaining about the cards you've been dealt, but playing your hand to the best of your ability. And I would say the two main
yes,
areas for guys to focus on: fitness and fashion. Okay, get yourself into good shape because you'll get more respected as well in the workplace, right? There's no reason on this earth for any man to be overweight or out of shape. There's literally none, right? There's like you can get all the equipment, gyms are cheap enough. Get yourself in shape. You'll get more respect from women as well. Like they can't be turned on by a guy who they don't respect, right? So it's just a respect thing, right? And in terms of your fashion, men's fashion's easy, right? It's just color and fit. Find the colors that look good on you. If you are struggling, hire a personal stylist or get a friend to go clothes shopping with you and tell you what looks good on you. But I agree with what Torero used to say, which was being good looking or looking good is an open, right? It's an open. It can get you through the door, right? But looks on their own, in my opinion, are not enough, right? Because you can get it, and you've probably had it as well with students, where you're working with a ridiculously good-looking guy, and it almost stops him from approaching because he's got more to lose, right? If you take like a stereotypical ugly guy, he's more ferocious with his approaching because he's like, fuck it, I've got nothing to lose. But the guy who looks like he just come off a catwalk is petrified of being rejected because he's never had it before in warm approach environments. So it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, you can have the great body, the glittering career, and you could look really good. But if you still don't have the confidence to approach, it's like buying a Lamborghini, but being afraid to drive it. So it's holistic. It's about being the full package. It's using this to deliver your value to the world and understanding that. Because I think the important thing when you do look good, you're going to get more looks from girls. And this is actually the way that I prefer day gaming now, where I will leave the house knowing that I look good, operating from that place of wholeness. So I'm brimming with self-adoration, right? I feel good about myself. And as soon as I get looks from girls, so like IOIs, that then becomes a warm approach. And I think that really is how you get results from this in the modern day. You look as good as you can look. You leave the house wearing good clothes that have fit well on your body. And then as soon as you get looks from girls, I've got a video on this so the guys can watch it. As soon as you get looks from girls, you go over there, smile on your face. Like, I just saw you checking me out. You can't just walk on by without at least saying hello. The warm approaching method, in my opinion, works way better than traditional cold approach because she's seen you, she likes you, she's probably thinking about fucking you, and now you're in front of her. So I think that's why building your looks threshold is important because you'll get more looks and then you can actually act on them. But acting on them is the key. There's no good just getting looks if you don't do anything with them. You actually have to go and say hello. So yeah, if guys are struggling with that, then I would say get that sorted.
yeah, I think like the warm approach, what we say like in the pickup, we say approach invitation, which is always a good to have, but not every guy is blessed with that. And there like we have like what we say like proper game is required, like how to approach, how to hook them in conversation, what the exactly you say, everything that the game part is required, because what you're saying that is that can work for like some people, but not for everyone. So I agree in the sense like I prefer also to have like AI, what we say approach invitation, warm approach, in other words we say. But not every guy will get like warm approach. So they, I mean, even if like what we say, like there is a look, there is a limit to the looks maxing. What we say, there is a limit to looks maxing, and after that you have to max out your game also, because looks maxing is still an easy job. If somebody is saying going to the gym and building muscles is easier than going out and getting rejected and improving your game, definitely going to the gym is easier compared to you are like going out in the field and approaching and making your skills. So what the easier part you should always do, and then like focus on like game also. That's what I say. And not every guy, I will say, like will get this luxury of warm approach. So definitely.
Well, yeah, just to say on this, I agree on this. First thing I'll say about this: 2.5 years ago, I wasn't getting any looks, right? So I've built that. I've built myself into the sort of person who can get looks. So I believe it is within the power of any man to get more looks than he's currently getting. Also, I'm not saying that I'm dependent on this as a source of income, right? Do I still cold approach? Absolutely, right? I still do it, but in terms of actual hardcore results, the warm approach, in my opinion, is more conducive. But when you sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Let me catch up. Cold approach. But yeah, when you are going out there, I think something that I agree with the black pill ideology, where they talk about geomaxing, right? So changing your location in order to get those looks from girls, like I was saying about before, because you're now a rarity. Right. So I would say to guys, obviously, everyone's got different lifestyles. Not every guy can just hop on a plane and go live somewhere else. But even if it's just like a week-long immersion that you do with yourself, like, for example, if you're a black guy listening to this, Poland is your place. Like, they absolutely love black guys out there. And by changing your location, you can change your results, because you might not be getting looks.
Germany, I will also suggest. Germany is
right.
also good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you got to play the game strategically, right? Like, you might not be getting looks in London because there's a lot of black guys in London, right? So rather than if you are a beginner to this, rather than having your beginning immersion phase in London, go and do it where you're going to be able to get better results, right? It just makes common sense. You don't have to live out there. But if you're a black guy, Sweden as well. I know a guy who went
Sweden,
over
yeah.
to Sweden, black guy. He's a massive rarity. So, like I was saying before, it's about playing your hand to the best of your ability. Find the girls you like and find the girls that actually like you. Like, when I was in Brazil, like, I was getting looks left, right, and center, more than I would have done back in Leeds, because it's like, we don't see this. You've got the fucking gringo effect, right? And I speak a little bit of Portuguese.
Yeah.
I speak a little bit of Portuguese. So it's just being strategic about it. I like to take snippets from all of these different pills. I agree with a decent amount of black pill ideology. There's a lot of, I think, coaches who will shy away from it and not admit that parts of the black pill ideology are actually pretty practical. I think the whole they call it geomaxing. I mean, the concept's been around since the fucking dawn of man. It's why guys go on holidays, like lads' holidays, to fucking Magaluf or Ibiza, right? You're going there to get laid, right? But like, being strategic, being like, right, what do I have? How can I leverage this? I'm a black guy. I'll go to Poland, and I'm most likely to get results there.
Yeah. That's correct. Like geomaxing, and not everybody able to do it, but yeah, definitely, like it can help. It can help. So in your case, for example, you are like British. So which country you prefer, like where you get the best results? Actually, where you have got the best warm approach invitation, or like a girl interested in you?
Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro. I was there at the start of this year, January, February. I mean, look, if you go to Brazil for the carnival, like, it's not even game anymore. Like, as long as you've got the thing with Brazil, right? They do prioritize beauty. It's a vain culture. They won't go to parties. The first question they'll ask is how many beautiful people are going to be there, right? That's literally, it's a commodity. It's the highest commodity in their sexual market. But the second one, which I would say is almost at par with that, is your charisma, right? like in like somewhere like Copacabana, for example, you're watching Brazilian guys interact with the Brazilian girls, and these are not stereotypical like good-looking guys. Like everyone thinks Brazilian guys are all good-looking, right? They weren't. But what they had in abundance was this bulletproof charisma, where it's who can light up the room the most. So yeah, I would say Brazil is a fantastic place to give you an experience of it's not game anymore, right? It's pure intersexual dynamics where like approaching a girl on the beach is completely normal. You don't have to run the whole like, oh, I just saw you. You look a little bit French. What are you doing today? You literally just go over to them, like, Menina, how are you? Like, you just assume familiarity. You've already been sleeping together for the past 5 years. That's how their culture is. And none of this like robotic, systematic, oh, I just saw you over. No, it's none of that shit. The big group of girls over there. Great. Let's just go sit down by them. I think it's amazing for any guy to go over there to experience. Because then the key is I was then able to bring that back with me to all the other locations that I've gone. And my, let's just call it game, improved exponentially. Just me as a person, I completely transformed in Rio because of what it taught me. Like, it just taught me, like just go and talk to girls as though you're already sleeping together. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it gives you this permission to do what you want because it's not a big deal out there. And you quickly realize that when you give yourself permission to do the thing, like even in the UK, where they've like passed bills where it's like illegal to like go over to somebody or some bullshit, what doesn't even apply, it just all goes out your head because it's like biology is biology, men are men, women are women, everyone wants to connect. It's about being the most confident person in the room. And this is not me saying, oh, just be confident, bro. Like, that's horseshit advice, obviously. But understanding that really, like that bulletproof character that you build by doing difficult things and leveraging the relative value by going to these alternative locations, it's amazing. And even for me, like if Brazil itself was a coach, I would be giving it the best testimonials ever because it changed my life going there.
Okay. And have you been to Southeast Asia or something like these places? Have you been there?
Thailand and Cambodia.
How it is your experience?
Yeah, it's not game over there either. If you've got 1,000 baht, you can do anything over there, mate.
Okay, so you don't need game there, like.
No, you really don't. I know this guy, and he won't mind me saying this. I know this guy. He lives in the UK. I won't name the exact city for anonymity. He has got an atrocious track record with Daygame, right? Like about 99% of his approaches just do not end well, right? Just a guy, friend of mine. We've known each other, just like mutual friends. He's actually now in Thailand. He's been there for 3 weeks. I think like the first like week that he was there, he got laid 3 times, right? So I think, to be honest, when we were saying before about receiving love from the feminine, right? Getting that validation early on in your career, I think that's an amazing thing for a guy to do. Go to somewhere like Thailand where basically sex is an expectation. Like, this guy is not getting results in the UK, very rarely. He goes over to Thailand, he gets laid 3 times in a week, right? So I actually think that's a great idea for a guy who's struggling.
Wait a minute, what I did? Yeah, correct. Yeah. No, it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah, I think that's actually a very practical thing for a guy to do. Go over to Southeast Asia, right? Get points on the board. Show yourself that you actually are fuckable. And then you're going to bring back momentum, right? You get momentum when you get laid. That's just how it is. Even if it was on like easy mode, you still had to approach. You still had to do something. She still had to deem your DNA worthy of replication. So, yeah, I would say if there's a guy who's been in the game, let's say he's been in the game for 10 years, he's done like 10,000 approaches and maybe one girl smiled at him, I would say, why not go over to Thailand, spend a week there, get laid like a rock star, and then it almost resets your brain for success. Just thoughts.
So Thailand, and like if you are like British white British guy, then Thailand is also good, or Brazil is good, because Thailand has like a bit bad reputation for Indians. This is something I have heard about. I've never been there, so maybe in future I will check how the game is there.
Mate, to be honest with you, mate, I feel like you've cleaned it there. Like, I mean, come on. Yeah, like, yeah, look, I don't know what it's like to be an Indian man, right? Guys will always say to me, yeah, I'm Indian. It's like, well, I'm not, right? So what I say is, if you don't resonate with me because I'm a tall, white British man, then find someone else who you do resonate with. Like, now I'm aware of you because like I wasn't aware of you before this. Now when I get those comments from Indian guys who are like, I'm Indian, then this is probably not the channel for you then, my friend. Like I want the
Hmm.
content that I produce to truly help guys and to truly change their lives. And I can't be asked getting into these esoteric, dick waving, pissing contests, being like, oh, but if you're this, and because I just see this a lot from other like white dating coaches, they'll try and give advice to every single guy. It's unrealistic of me. It's unrealistic of me to give advice to, let's say, an Indian guy, because I don't know what it's like to be an Indian guy. It's like
Yeah,
me
that's very
giving
honest from you, actually.
it's like me
That's very
giving
honest.
it's like me giving advice to Cristiano Ronaldo on how to play football. I am not fucking qualified for that. I think he should probably go to speak to Pep Guardiola because he can probably tell him a thing or two. So if guys want to get into that debate with me, it's not even a debate they can have with me because I fully accept their position. If they are a short, fat Indian man, I don't know what it's like to be you, and you're probably going to get pissed off by me. And anything that I say to you is not going to resonate with you because we don't have that shared experience. So what I will then do is say, listen, I do know a guy, he's called Deepak. I actually think he will help you transform your life because he can probably empathize with you. I will send him over to you or someone else. If I know a black dating coach who black guys want to resonate. Do you know what I mean? Because I just feel as though in this space, from what I've identified, there's far too many coaches who just want to be everything to anybody, and they want to try and like sell these guys this bullshit formula. Like, yeah, you can do it, bro. Just be confident. No, that's not what they need to hear. What they need to hear is advice from someone who actually understands them and has also got the success they want, like you have.
That's very important. That's very important that like understand them and also getting the success with the
Yeah,
girls who also they like to
correct.
date. For
Yeah,
example, if I would be like an Indian guy who is getting laid in Delhi, yeah,
yeah.
in Delhi or in Mumbai, in India, and
Mm.
I'm giving international dating advices, it's not going to work because maybe a British, some guys living in England or in USA or in Germany, they okay, this guy's getting laid in Delhi, and what the fuck, he's don't know about culture. But if some immigrant, some outsider, like getting laid in England or in USA or bringing results or
Yeah.
in Germany, then okay, this guy is not look okay, this guy is Indian, but okay, maybe he's speaking not perfect language or has some accent, but he's getting laid with the girls we also like to get laid.
Yeah, exactly. And
So
then
if then
that shatters everything. All those self-limiting beliefs get dissipated. There's a great quote which
yeah,
is, what do I currently believe about the world to be true that isn't? All right. Like, what do you currently believe about the world to be true that isn't? So you've got a guy sat at home, I can't get laid because I'm Indian. Then he sees you and your infield footage, let's say in London, which is a fucking difficult city to get results at the best of times anyway. But I think it's one of the best cities to actually learn this stuff because it's just hectic, volume, crazy people, whatever. And then they see you pulling the girls they want to pull, and they can't find an excuse anymore, right? You said you're 45, you're Indian, and they're looking at you, and then you are the shining example that shatters their whole belief system. And for me, that's amazing. So, like, point being, guy said, Kristian, what do I do? I'm Indian, I can't get results. Go and watch this video from this guy because I guarantee he will be able to help you more than I ever would be able to.
thank you, thanks. Yeah, that's interesting thing because UK has like a lot of multicultural. It's like completely multicultural
Yeah.
society, and you are from UK, so you must be getting like what are the type of clients you get like when you get like students. You said that you're not a fucking dating coach, so you are a like day game coach. What you in
Nah,
your
I don't
channel?
associate. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't associate with any of these fucking labels. I ain't a pick-up eyes. I'm not a dating coach. I'm not a fucking day game coach or a fucking day gamer. The label that I attach to myself is a freedom from bullshit practitioner.
Yeah, the
Okay,
charisma coach.
everything that I do is an extension of my freedom from bullshit personality. I believe that anything that terrifies you, it identifies where you're not currently free, right? So you're not free from bullshit. I think that is the driving force behind my life anyway. It's to be free, right? I have to look at myself and say, right, where am I not currently free? So 2.5 years ago, I was unable to go over and approach a girl because it was semi-scary because I'd never done it before. Right, I need to do this. So a freedom from bullshit practitioner. I don't care how wanky or woo-woo it sounds. It's the best label that I've come up with because I've always seen myself as separate to all of this community. I've never seen myself as a PUA. I've never seen myself as a day gamer. I've never seen myself as a day game coach, a dating coach. I've just seen myself as a guy who's been able to do the best with what he's got and is a trailblazer for other guys who also don't resonate that much with the pickup community. Because to answer your question, the majority of guys who I work with, they are high achieving, busy city workers who don't want to have the label of day game attached to them, right? So the guys who I work with are regular, normal guys. They've got great careers. They've got everything on paper. It's just this one aspect of their life that they're struggling with. It's just this deep-seated perceived lack of self-worth, which everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone battles with it. That sense that I'm not enough. Even with all the materialistic trophies that they've acquired, they still have that avalanche of anxiety in the evenings where they doubt themselves, right? So the guys who I work with, high achieving, busy city workers who resonate with me because I don't give off the vibe of a pickup artist, if that answers your question.
So you get like guys from all races, I'm sure, like in UK. So in your views, like because I check your channel, there was some Indian-looking guy, a bit dark Indian-looking guy was there in Wars. I think it was in
that was effort.
Krakow.
He's black. The thumbnail makes him look Indian.
He looks like Indian actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
okay, why the video got so many views, bro. People are like, Indian, click.
Yeah, he look Indian actually. He look Indian, but he has like a very hairstyle was.
He's half Fijian.
Half Fiji. Okay. So the interesting thing is like so sometimes people say like what do you think, like you are a white guy, because sometimes I see like people like races and all do play a role, and people think in that they have bias against one race and the other race or something like that, and it's a bit kind of like a taboo topic, but still, like, so you're a white guy and you think that you can get results to bring results to if somebody minority, some black or some Indian, or like, as long as it's not completely like what would you say, like his assembly is completely in the basement, like a workable guy, you can get results to them.
Okay, I think that question is, I'll answer it this way. I don't claim to be able to get results, whatever that actually means, for every single guy who applies to work with me. Point being, I don't work with every guy who applies to work with me because not every guy is the right fit for my coaching. And something else I will say as well, which I think is interesting, I think needs to be said. It's not my job. I can't control, this is a better way of phrasing it. I can't control whether or not a guy sticks his penis inside of a woman, right? That is out of my control. I can give him all of the skills. I can give him the entire playbook. I can tell him exactly what to do, but it's up to him to close that deal, right? It's like saying a personal trainer is not responsible if you decide to stuff your face with donuts at midnight on a Friday night, right? It's not the personal trainer's job. The personal trainer can hold you accountable 100%, but it's the willpower of the individual, because it annoys me when guys say to me all the time, the only result, like what validates me as a coach is whether or not my clients get laid. That's not my job. It's not my job. It's not within my control if a guy sticks his dick inside of a girl. That's on him, right? So in answer to your question, yes, every guy who is accepted to work with me will be left delighted beyond belief. I will go above and beyond to make sure that guy got exactly what he signed up for, which is getting over his AA, getting the entire day game playbook, having the bulletproof belief that he can go over to any girl and start a relationship, giving him the entire structure, telling him exactly what he needs to do on a day, holding him accountable for a full 4 weeks after we've worked together. You can see all the testimonials on my website to actually legitimize my credibility. But this is the one thing that irks me currently in this whole sphere. guys will only look at credibility if my clients got laid. It's not my job if a guy gets laid or not. That's on him. I will do everything within my power to make that a reality.
Hmm.
It's up to him if he goes the full way.
No, makes sense, makes sense. So like, so you have like some like what we say, sure, like some multi what we say like minority clients definitely like in the coaching. So in one way, like as a like white British male, you can teach them what we
Yeah,
say if somebody
100%.
is coming.
I had a guy from the Philippines I was working with in London. It was the last weekend in London before I came here. So he's not living in the Philippines at the moment. He lives in a European city that I won't name just for anonymity. But yeah, he's a Filipino guy. So I'm sure guys who are watching this, if they're Filipino, they're following the subscribing to the beliefs. And in London as well, which I said, it's a cutthroat place. It's a very difficult city, even just to get girls to stop, right? And by the end of that week, it's actually on day 2, actually, and I remember it vividly. The last conversation that he had was like kind of like a semi-instant date with this. I think she was a Polish girl.
Hmm.
And he was in there for about 30 to 35 minutes, right? And he came out
Hmm.
that conversation and he was quite emotional about it. He had like, like some tears in his eyes. He just looked at me. He's like, mate, like you've changed my life. Like for him, that meant everything, right? Because for some guys who are really like, because he I think he's actually 40 years old, so Filipino guy, 40 years old. He's been wanting to do this for like years, but he's just never pulled the trigger, never took the action. I think he saw his race as a limiting factor in what he
Hmm.
could accomplish. And I knew, because it's all individually tailored, right? I don't give the same fucking framework to every guy who comes through the door. Everyone's different. We've all got our own needs. We've all got our own goals. And we all need to be given individually tailored advice. And what I did for him at the start of our weekend together was just filled him with so much optimism, so much belief, reminded him that you're already setting yourself apart from 99% of guys who would never have the balls to do this. We started off nice and slow, asking people for directions around London. We'd go in together, then he'd go in on his own, start to build momentum. Now he was going direct compliments. Then he was doing it on his own without me needing to tell him. Then he eventually had this conversation with this wonderful girl. And then when I left him, he had another instant date with this Polish, I think, YouTuber, whatever, I can't remember. But point being, every guy comes into this. Yes, we all want to get laid. We all want to receive validation from the feminine. But we were together for 3 days, and for him having that experience with this girl, that was it right there. Like that was everything. That meant everything to him, because of what it cemented in his mind. What it cemented in his mind was he's worthy of being loved by a woman, right? Because she was so into him from the get-go that he was able to satiate that craving. And I spoke to him yesterday, so now he's out in his European city doing it on his own. And he's saying to me, and this is, Filipino guy, 40 years old, he wished that he'd have done this sooner. And for me, that means everything, right? Like, look, we all need to make money. We all want to be making money from the careers that we
And
have. But
he must not be speaking perfect English kind of thing
no, he
if
wasn't
he's.
speaking English. Like, which is a good point. Which is why I said to him at the start, like, you're doing this in a foreign language. I couldn't do that, right? Doing this in a foreign language, in a foreign city, and it's the first time that he's ever done this, right? And he literally just got off a plane, so he was sleep deprived as well. And he, like, just a shining example, because like I can't film in fields without people's permission. He didn't want to be on camera, fine, whatever. It would have created great content, but the client first. Just seeing that within him changed my own perspective. Like, I learned something. Every client that I have, I learned something from them, and he'll always have a special place in my heart, because he was a shining example of what can be achieved when your belief system changes. Like, Plato said, people who tell stories rule the world. Okay, people who tell stories rule the world. So you have to make sure the stories you're telling yourself serve rather than strangle you. And I think when you are like deep down, let's say the black pill rabbit hole, you can't do it on your own. You need someone who understands you and who can lift you up, because a rising tide lifts all the boats. You need someone in your corner who can believe in you. And I was that for him. And I truly want him to continue succeeding, whatever success means to him, and keep me updated with his progress. But yeah, I think for me, that was in the 2.5 years that I've been doing it, I think it was one of my favorite experiences. Not because he got like 50 fucking lays, not because he, like, not all of that bullshit, because he felt as though he was good enough. right? That's and that
Yeah.
that that and that was it for me.
So I want to that's good. I want to I have this want to know your views because I was criticized in the past like some time to time like some people think that I am from Indian origin,
Mm.
like migrated to Germany like 2006, and if a like if a British guy they are coming, then I cannot deliver results. So it was a big issue in 2017 18. At that time I was criticized a lot. At that time, maybe I don't know, you were not in the game at that time.
No,
Even
mate.
your Java, that he knows me very well, and he gave me challenge at that time. It was a big. So do so like you can bring result to I saw like you can bring result to some minority. So if we say reverse, then a minority can also bring result to a white guy as long as he has proven his skills. So what do you think? What it is possible, or what do you think? Because sometimes I have seen some people think that no, like he is not able to speak proper English and this and that. He may not able to know we are not, he cannot able to bring results. But if you see a like in my case, I may have like face more toughness when it comes to game,
Mm.
so maybe I have better skills, logically
Well,
speaking.
yeah, I mean, I think I understand the gist of your question. Are you qualified? Are you qualified to teach white guys? Is that the question?
Hmm.
Well, yeah, because realistically, like, let's just be completely transparent here. I would say the majority of people who are Indian think that they've been dealt the worst hand. I'm just being completely transparent here, right? That's literally the comments that I see. Usually, the most hateful comments are Indian guys who think that they can't get anywhere, right? So that's just me being completely transparent. So I would say you are the best person to teach white guys, right? Because on paper, right, if you're an Indian guy who's getting results from this, then you must be so credible if you're able to get results. If we are logically speaking that you are impacted by your race, let's say, then surely it's a no-brainer. Let's say I wanted okay, let's say I wanted to learn, right? I wanted to learn the skills, like complete beginner shit, right? And I wanted to learn from somebody, and I had a choice between, let's say, you and James Tusk in the UK, right? I'd go with you. Why? Because you're different to me. And on paper, and this is again me being completely transparent, I think, right, he's an Indian guy. From what I've read, Indian guys really struggle with this. I think that's a fair comment. So I would be blowing up your phone, being like, mate, when are you available? Because you're a shining example of what can be achieved beyond the bullshit. Right? Like, you are literally breaking every Indian guy's self-limiting belief about themselves, right? So if you're inspiring Indian guys who have it the worst, then of course you're going to be able to deliver results from white guys. And look, we don't have any partnership. I didn't have a fucking clue who you were like 20 minutes ago, whatever it was. I don't have any affiliation. I don't get commission from it, like whatever. But in answer to your question, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. If a guy wants to learn this and he's white, then I feel like you'd be the best fucking person to learn from.
Yeah, thanks,
Plus
thanks.
your experience,
You-
plus your experience as well. You've been doing this
yeah,
long enough. You've been doing this long
it,
enough in your
it
life.
yeah, it was interesting time when we started like posting same. It was year 2015 we're talking about. So to 16, and like I was starting posting like videos about me getting late, same day late, getting girl, getting showing the approach and then showing the date and then taking them home. So it was interesting. People started to say to me like, this guy is not banging this girl. And I have a business partner at that time, so they said like, this guy is like doing some dry pull, this guy is so ugly. And even from UK and all are like criticized like, this guy's just doing dry pull, fake bounce back and all these things. And I was like, I was so like, what I said, like, what I should prove, I'm not even showing the number, I'm showing the complete. And then at that time YouTube was slightly reluctant, so I said like, I said to my friend like, we have to show the real deal. Like, so I started to show something. I don't want to tell like on this live stream, but I was showing beyond like taking them home and like some fun stuff. Then they started to say to me, they started to say, this guy's paying girls, these guys, these are like all actors. And I said to my friend, dude, I'm on fucking job center. I I was building my business.
Yeah.
So
Just to intercept there, I know. Look, with YouTube, right? With YouTube, you're always going to get people who hate you, regardless of what you do, right? Even Mother Teresa will have people who fucking hate her, right? And that woman was a paragon of angelicness, right? So, point being, obviously, you've learned from this, but people want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you do better than them. Right. So when they
yeah,
were seeing your infield and you were shattering all of the beliefs around this community, they wouldn't like it because you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, and then you will then get the criticism. But just purely as you won't need this advice, but I'm going to give you it. I'm going to give you it
yeah.
anyway. You never ever need to validate your own credibility, right?
No,
Because it never ends, right? The
yeah,
reason that
yeah, you're right. But
the
in
re-
one way, it was like it was so much all over the place, and I said like, okay, so I need to show my social security papers in the sense like, listen, I'm getting money from the job center.
but
You see, this is the
it's
how I can
never
pay.
enough.
No, no,
It's
no. But
never
it,
enough
it
for
it
them.
it did like there's some people did believe like, but I have to show that if I'm earning like if I'm getting 700 euro, I mean how I can pay these like multiple so many girls. It is not possible. So
Yeah.
then like I have to like to this level I have to prove my credibility. So now it
Yeah,
is.
I still disagree, mate. I feel as though because it's like if someone said to me, "You've got purple hair." It's like, well, I don't. So point being, it's like when you actually know yourself, right? When you actually know yourself, and you are getting criticised from the masses, usually from other coaches who want to bring you down. You just got to see it for what it is, because as soon as you start feeding on the bait, I 100% understand why you did it. I'd have done the same thing as well. Like, you want to prove. You do all that, and yes, some people might believe you, but it's never enough. That's the reason why addiction is so addictive, because it almost works. You'll never satiate the masses. The best thing that you can do to them is say, listen, if you don't believe me, that's absolutely fine. I know that my dick's getting wet. Fuck you. And then just continue, because that's what they just want, the response, right? It's like the black pill guys. All the black pill guys want is for somebody to say, you're right. That's all they want. They don't care about anything else. They just want to be told they're right. They want their opinions to be validated, because it then gives them permission to ruminate in their own egoic self-absorption. So yeah, no, look, I understand why you do. I get my fair share of haters and other coaches who want to make like fucking roast videos of me, etc. I just see it for what it is. It's babies crying in the pram who are scared that I'm going to overtake them.
Yeah, yeah, it was like it was old days. Now it's not a problem because maybe at that time I had like this ego thing. I have to
Yeah,
prove it to the community.
definitely.
That can
Yeah,
also because I just started it. So
yeah.
now it's more like I'm get chilled out. I have like my girls and everything. Things are going really good, and getting back in game actually. And I have some questions for you.
Or just one thing, actually, I was just going to say to you quickly. If you ever do want to validate your lifestyle, use Instagram. Just post stories on Instagram, right? Just like little photos of like the legs of the girls, or maybe like the fucking the bum of a girl if she consents to it. Just take pictures with your girls. That's the receipts right there. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
you don't need to make
Yeah, you're right.
excuses.
Like, I was like, I'm just an introvert guy, so I just fucking hate this Instagram story. I did it, this
Yeah,
Instagram things and all. I got it is a good thing.
yeah.
So what do you think about like? So you started game just like 2 3 years ago. So you never gamed in the older. So like because the new age game is like a lot of this social media and all. So what do you think like? This the I make a video about social media resistance. This is something new we started to see, which is like you get if you just get the girl's number and then it will be she's getting also hit on like on the Instagram, on Tinder, and also what is your strategy in that situation, like if somebody is coming to you, or in your personal strategy in game you play tight game, what you do to deal with this thing, because sure like you may be getting some more flakes, but you have never seen what you were getting in the older days, so you don't know, you cannot compare.
Yeah, I think, look, Instagram's changed the game because now girls are getting more validation than they've ever got before. I wouldn't say Tinder, to be honest, is that much of a problem. Girls literally use Tinder for validation. They have no intention of going on dates with any of these guys. I know that because girls who I've been with have shown me their Tinder. They've got like fucking 6,000 plus matches. It's oversaturated. Like, they're not using
Hmm.
Tinder for anything else apart from to get their ego validated. So we won't bother with that. Tinder, if you're on Tinder, get the fuck off Tinder. You ain't getting laid from that unless you're literally like 0.1% guy. So forget about that. I think Instagram is a very useful tool. Now, not many guys want to put in the work to create a good Instagram, right? So that's on them. I think Instagram is great because what Instagram can be is a portfolio for pre-selection. Right? If you
Hmm.
have photos of you with other girls on your Instagram profile, you've got a high follower count and you've got a low following count. So you can go to my Instagram, it's at Kristian Magician, okay? At Kristian Magician, you can see my profile. It's not the best profile by any stretch of the imagination, but it documents my passion, which is magic. Okay,
Hmm.
so you can see me performing magic to attractive girls, right? So I've got the pre-selection element. It's also tied into what I used to like to do, right? So Instagram is an amazing landing page to you almost allow the profile to do the work for you. Right. So if you have like a lackluster conversation with a girl, like you really weren't on form, maybe it's the first one of the day, you got like a
Hmm.
shaky Instagram, but then she then goes onto your profile and she can see that you are a serious fucking guy. The silence does the work for you. And then she gets more invested by the profile that you've built. Right. Now, you don't want to be dependent on Instagram. I always prefer to take the phone number because it's a kind of weird reason, but I just think like receiving a text from somebody, it
Hmm.
hits the dopamine receptors differently, in my opinion. Like, because like as we know, girls are getting flooded with DMs, and even if you were that guy to cold approach her, she's still got like hundreds of them that she also needs to go through. But she's not
Hmm.
getting that many text messages from guys, especially the way that I text girls. I take my texting extremely seriously. I voice
Hmm.
message girls, right? I voice message girls. I've got a voice messaging video, like a full how-to guide on my channel. It's fucking great. I love it.
No.
But voice messaging girl, it sets you apart. Not only have you got the audacity to approach her on the street, now you're pinging her voice messages, right? So I don't think social media is like a problem. Maybe people portray it to be a problem. I think it can only be a good thing if you use it strategically, right? Get your like nine photos of you, like maybe looking good with friends, with girls. Use it as a landing page. Just use it as a backup option because girls will literally they'll just test you. Like, oh, let's change Instagram. No, I'll take your number. Drop me your number. I'll send you one message. You can do whatever you want with that. Be giving her the phone as you're saying this. It's just a nice little move, just so she actually is compliant with it. But listen, if you're a guy watching this and you're adamant that you don't want to create an Instagram profile because you're not narcissistic like that and you just don't want to put the time in to building the profile, you don't have to. But I do think having an online presence is important just to validate you as not a weird guy, because I think girls just do get a little bit weirded out when when you don't have any social media presence. But let's say, right, you're not going to have any social media presence. You are just going to be like Thomas Pynchon, American author. He's wear a bag over his head. No one knew what he looks like. He's on an episode of The Simpsons once. Let's say you don't want to do Instagram. You're still going to get results from phone numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
You are.
yeah, I mean, like in my views, how I see is that if there are like many guys who come in the coaching and like who are watching this or uh, the Instagram, and they are introvert and not because in one way, like when you're introvert, then posting the story, it's a bit kind of tough, if you are extrovert, natural extrovert, it is easy. So in my views, like getting having a good game, quality game, again, I'm very technical in game. I'm like completely, what we say, nerd, you can say, very technical.
Yeah.
So getting good in game and like closing the girl with having that intimacy at the end, that will make her remember you much longer, like in the sense, like, it will be having a more strong emotional impact on her mind. um, and that you can still get results even if you are not having Instagram and you find it too much cumbersome thing, like this online thing. But you have to have a good quality game, and after getting first, if it is possible, then you better close the deal right on the spot, means SDL, same day lay or something like that, because the girls having a very strong impact. um, um, Good. Okay, I just subscribed Christian. Okay, this guy is saying so.
What's he saying? Is he subscribed to me?
No, he's like, so you'll get some guys from my side. So what I was saying is, there's another question. Have you, maybe you have been here? So what I was saying is, I forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you talk about
if
Instagram same day lay.
yeah, if you have a strong emotional impact on her, because when the girl having that emotional impact, it will be on the first date, it will be strong, and then slowly it fades away, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So um, and then you close the deal as quick as possible.
Mhm.
You can still get laid, you can still get girl. Oh, what I was saying is that after sex, girl is more responsive, because the sex is the most, like, what we say, bring the most strongest emotional impact on the girl, and then she's more likely to meet you or to
Mhm.
go out with you, and she will forget about all this Instagram thing and all. So if we are doing the real game, and when you able to close the deal
Mhm.
on the same day, if the logistics are in the favor, that's the best thing. Or even like taking the number with with a strong emotion, like strong intimacy, man to woman connection, that can still get you result, because she saw you in real, and then she will be remembering it. It's not like now she has the emotional impact for the next 6 months, and you write her after 3 months, and hoping that she will respond. No, it is not going, because the emotionality fades away slowly.
Yeah, you want to
Make
hit it when
sense?
you want to hit it. You want to hit it when the buying temperature is at its highest, right? And
Yes.
yeah, look, sex is the ultimate frame control, right? Like when you give the girl a mind blowing experience and she knows that you are irreplaceable and she's not going to get that from anyone else, then yeah, they will chase you like a hungry animal, right? And actually, very interesting. Yeah, maybe I would actually recommend that guys do this. When I first started my journey for the first year, because I knew I wanted to get really good at this. I wanted to literally be the best like there's ever been when it came to Daygame, right? And I knew I wanted to get really good at it, and I knew that I wanted to coach it as well. So I had a rule myself, right? For the first year, every single girl who I slept with, I would never see them again, right? It was just like a one and done type of deal, because I knew it would slow me down. If I met a girl that I really liked, I'd get comfortable with her. I'd be getting regular sex. I wouldn't be hungry to go out and practice my skills. So I had a deal. I was actually very transparent actually on the day. Just like, this is just the type of person I am. I like transparency. So when we're out on the date, I literally would just pre-frame it with, listen, this is only like a one-time thing, right? And she's on it because I'd already made it clear in like the initial interaction that's what was going to be the case. But I would recommend to any guy for the first year of learning, let's say, game, don't, this is completely up to you, but don't go back to any of the girls who you slept with, because, and this is the most important thing, it demonstrates the craziness of female nature. When you push them away, they want to come back. I was having to block girls on my phone. They were finding me on Facebook. They were also finding my YouTube channel and be like, what the fuck's this? I like finding me through different avenues, because I was the guy who said no to them after the first time. Like the other guys were getting suffocated in scarcity. They're like, no, I need my next meal. Like when are we going to meet again? So one of your biggest superpowers as a man is being able to say no to a woman. And just to give the guys an example from now, literally happened to me before we got into this live stream. There was a girl that I met in London before I came over to Bulgaria, which is where I'm at now, and we met each other one time. Okay, one time we met each other in London, had a great time together. I came over to Bulgaria, where I'm at now. So we were kind of casually messaging each other back and forward. I didn't respond to her message for 3 days. Okay, didn't respond to her message for 3 days. I get a voice message from her like early afternoon today, and she sends me this like 5-minute voice note being like, first of all, I need to touch base with you. This has been so rude. No one puts me in a corner like that. No one treats me this way. You spent 3 days without responding to me, and then sending me this long-winded reason as to why I need to start responding to her. I heard the voice message, and then I got myself nice and composed, because back in the day I was very reactionary. I'm just you know, volcanic in my eruptions. It sounds like a euphemism.
I was the same.
Yeah, that's there. They have that effect on me. I composed myself. I sent her a 30-second voice note, and I said, "Listen, we have met each other once. For you to say it's rude of me, knowing nothing about my current situation, I could have a personal emergency that I need to tend to, and messaging you is the last thing on my agenda. For you to say it's rude of me." If we were in a relationship, I would understand. I would want consistent FaceTime with you. But for you to tell me that I'm a rude person after not responding to you, it's been really good getting to know you, but I'm going to close this book now. Left it there. 2 minutes later, she's straight on the voice message again. She's basically chastising herself, saying what a bitch she was, and almost like crazy apologetic, being like, I was really looking forward to see you again. I guess I've fucked it up now. Like almost try to like tug on my heartstrings. I just sent her a thumbs up emoji, left it there. So point being, this is not done in a dictatorship like I'm better than you, war of the sexes, you know, fucking battle men against women. It's having clear boundaries and knowing when to say no, right? If a girl does something that genuinely pisses you off, right? If a friend of mine had done this, I would have been pissed off, right? If my friend, let's say George, was like, mate, you've not responded to me for 3 days. Like, what are you doing? You're such a rude person. I'd be like, George, you absolute prick. I've had stuff going on. And we'd sort it out as guys. But when you're communicating with a woman, most guys are scared to piss the woman off because they're scared to lose her because they don't know where their next meal is coming from, right? But I think your biggest superpower as a man, especially when the girl's beautiful, is being able to say no, is being able to actually push her away because she's passed a boundary that you just don't resonate with. The worst thing that I could have done when she was all apologetic was like, oh, listen, it's fine, don't worry about it. I can't wait to see you. Like, it was just like growing pains. You know, we'll get through it. Fuck that. Like, I know early on what I'm looking for, especially the personality type of a woman. And if she is going to be a little brat about it, like just bratty behavior, I've got too much going on in my life to entertain that level of brattiness. So she can go over and find a guy who will entertain that. The final thing I'll say about Instagram, just to bring it full circle and put a little ribbon on it, Instagram's also great for playing the long game. Right, if I meet a girl,
correct.
If I meet a girl in, let's say, London, and it happened, like I met a girl in London, she's Brazilian, right? So she's going to be back between London and Brazil. I'm also planning to go back to Brazil soon. So you can keep up to date with each other's lives. If she then responds to your stories, now she's chasing you. Right, she's now chasing you on Instagram. So from a logistical perspective, purely, because look, if a buying temperature is high, find a fucking toilet. But from purely logistics, it's good for the long game because you can keep up to date with each other's lives. So
yeah, no, that's really good. Like Instagram for long game, because one time I met a girl, and it happened like many times. So I met this girl, and then she had at that time boyfriend, and then she said like, we cannot sleep with each other because I have boyfriend. I said, okay, we exchanged Instagram, and then we stayed in touch. And then she had the picture of her boyfriend in the Instagram, and I think I followed her. She didn't follow me. And then like after 1 year, she followed me, and I checked her Instagram, and then there was no picture of the boyfriend, and she liked my picture. And I said, like, what's going on? You want to meet? She said, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I invited direct to my place, and I say, let's drink tea. I said, forget tea, you want to drink wine? She said, yeah, okay. Open the wine and banged. So it was like straightforward. And I was saying, like, sometimes you can get in Instagram something like this, and it was clear signal. The picture of boyfriend are gone, and she liking my picture, and she followed me. And so sometimes something like this also happens.
I know, yeah, and also as well, a woman's type is forever fluctuating. She might not have been crazy into you on the 1st of January, but on the 30th of March, when she's going through the menstrual cycle, her type changed. And now, because you were the guy who had the balls to go over, you've already projected your proclivity as a protector. This guy's got courage. He acted in spite of fear. He's not like all the other simps in my DMs. oh, I'm feeling in the mood now. She might not have been 2 months ago, but now she is. And you're right at the top of her Christmas list just because you've learned the skills of cold approach, you've delivered your value to the world, and you've used Instagram as a landing page, which is why I say to guys, build a fucking Instagram.
Yeah, from this incident, I had like one more incident. I was in a city, new city, and then I was trying to be like, more hardcore, testing some skills. So I met a girl and I said, like, after 2 minutes, I said, I mean, if you're interested, I was in Japan. I learned Japanese massage. I can do really good Japanese massage. Maybe you like it.
Mm.
And then she said, like, she was looking and laughing, and she says, no, 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 I will not do it. I said, okay, then bye. Power to let go. No, no
Yeah.
bullshitting. I said, okay, bye. I will, okay, bye. That's it. That's the offer only I can do. Uh, we go home and I do massage and means like, and then what happens after like 2 3 4 months, I was on the same road and then I met this girl. I forget about this girl, and then she said she saw me and she's like, Japanese massage. I said, what? She said, Japan. I said, you said that you do Japanese massage. I said, yeah. So today you want to do? I said, yeah, come. And then she came to me, and yeah, and it was deal closed. We
Yeah, I
didn't do
think
like it.
yeah, I think an amazing mindset that you can actually teach to, I would say, more advanced guys is, first of all, go out without a phone, right? So you go out without a phone, so obviously you're not taking any numbers, but like, if you can go into every approach assuming that an SDL is on the table, that will change the way you approach. Because I think most guys go into a conversation, they only think about the SDL once they've screened for logistics. But if you imagine, and this is just hypothetical, I'm not saying it's gonna like give you like fucking SDLs with every girl, but like, if you're already in your mind thinking that this is going to be the girl that you take home on the same day through organic FaceTime conversation, it changes the way you approach her at the get-go. You're already in that sexual state. Rather than going into the conversation social, you don't have a phone, you're already assuming attraction, you already have an expectation there that one girl today is going to be a yes girl whose buying temperature is going to be high. Mate, you only need 30 seconds with that girl to screen. And it's like, I think just having that mindset, especially for like the more advanced guys who want to take things to the next level, expecting with every approach that you do that an SDL is on the cards, I think it changes the way you approach women.
Yeah, yeah, that's like you're right. Like that's correct. I wanted to say something. I forget it. Okay, maybe it will come. So how much time you have? We already have around 1 hour 30 minutes.
Well, I've got like another 30 minutes if you want to go for 30.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's okay. Like the easiest country you told, the Brazil, Thailand, and
Thailand's the easiest. Thailand, I would say, is the
just a minute,
easiest.
somebody's calling me. I cancel it.
It's one of your girls.
Yeah, I got the yeah, what I was saying to you. So one thing you said interesting, that was like, um, like in my words, I would say learning to let go. So this is something very important for the guys who are learning game. This is something skill I consciously learned for myself. Sometimes in the old days when I was learning game, and then sometime what happened, like the girl, I don't know if you have faced these things. So sometimes the girls say like, I will, I take your number and I will, I will call you or something like that. Like, and then you get my number or something. So one time, one incident happened. I remember I was in Berlin center, like, you have Oxford Street, we have like Berlin city center. And I approached this girl and she said like, give me your number and um, I will, then I will give you my number. Then I said, okay, I gave her my number, and then she said like, okay, I will call you later. Oh, I became so angry. I said like, I said, I will not use these words. I was so angry at that time. I said like, delete my number now immediately. I just, I just angry. I just left. I just left. So one thing I learned in that situation, maybe my behavior was slightly angry, but I said like, I will not take this BS. And I became very cutthroat. in my game, and that got me also very, very, very high level of results. Because sometimes the girl said, uh, like, oh, I have this, oh, like I'm persisting, like, girl is giving resistance, and then I say, okay, this is the maximum I can go. Then I will say, okay, bye, cut. I just, okay, bye, and I just leave. I just saying to my brain, like, telling myself that I can persist and I can just cut her completely out from, like, and then I just do something else. So there was one incident happened. I met a girl. She was from Holland actually, and I met her, and everything was going good. She was very young, and I did escalate and everything right on the street and touching legs. I do like very heavy stuff. I took her to the bar, one bar, and then I was taking to the bar in under my apartment. We have a building, and there is a bar inside. The problem, what happened was that somehow I told my age. There was a big age difference, and I cannot recover from that situation. And so the second venue we were, and then I like planning was to take her home, but somehow she was not complying. Something went wrong. I not able to handle, but I invested like 3 hours. I invested already 3 hours, and then I say like, fuck, man, like, I say I have to cut her off. I just cannot deal. Because if now I will start to supplicate. I just cut her off. Okay, bye, cut. And I just said fuck. I just went to home, and I said to myself, okay, it's all good. So after that time, it was like 8 o'clock in the evening. I went out. I went to the like, again, and I met a girl. I just like aggressively take another girl home, and then we banged. But one thing is interesting, like when the girl is too much of like giving you resistance, then there is a one time you should learn that you have to cut her off. You cannot be just like a needy guy, all like, please give me the pussy, please give me the pussy. This is not how it works. You can persist, but at one time you have to cut her off completely and just leave. And your subconscious mind need to understand this thing, that you want her, but you don't need her.
Yeah, I think that that phrase on its own will set a lot of guys free, and that applies to anything that you do in life. I think any relationships that you want to form, it's you want them, you don't need them. And I think being cutthroat with the way that you operate your life, I think is essential. I think guys who've got good experience with sales are really good at this. Where Terrero used to say, game is amoral. And I think there are a lot of guys who get involved with game, and their morals are almost too high. They've been conditioned from an early age to always pedestalize the feminine and let her get away with bratty behavior. But like we were saying before, it's abundance. Like abundance is the antidote to all of your anxieties, right? The person who has the most cares the least. Yeah. So
Hmm.
if you're with a woman and she's being bratty, but you've already got 7 gobsmackingly gorgeous girls in your phone who are already desperate to see you, the loss of one really isn't a problem. Yeah, but Kristian, what do I do if I'm a complete beginner? I don't have options at the moment. You act as if you do. That is literally the most practical
Exactly.
mindset. The most practical mindset I can give you. If you're currently a virgin, you're 30 years old, you've not had sex all your life, act as if.
Act as if.
Act as if you're the most fuckable man on the planet, and see how that actually makes you feel. Because it's not fake it till you make it, it's believe it so you become it. There's a difference. Like fake it is like I need to put on this facade. Like the best actors don't just play a character, they become the character, right? So it feeds the logical side of your mind, because you're like, wait, if I can act confident, well, doesn't that mean I am confident? Because that's all it is, right? Like we are forever putting on costumes depending on what the moment wants. If I'm about to approach a big group of 5 girls who are beautiful, I need to amplify my confidence in order to get in to that, let's say, set. It's not because I'm a confident person, it's because I can act in a way that projects confidence. Because for me, true confidence is optimism in the absence of certainty. That's what confidence is. It's optimism in the absence of certainty, right? Most people think that confidence comes when you're certain. No, you don't need certainty to be confident. You simply need to act in the absence of certainty. Oh, there's the girl. I really don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to act as if I've done this. I'm going to tell myself it's easy. I can do that. And when you start to do that, when you start to tell yourself better stories, you believe in the abundance mentality where it's not always having but knowing you can have. You act as if you've got an abundance of women who are desperate to see you. Your relationships with the feminine will change forever because now you're operating from a place of wholeness rather than from a place of lack. Like the self-made millionaire who has made $1 million, he's self-made, he's built it from scratch. When he loses all of his money, he doesn't go into some hyper depressive state because he knows he's got the skills to acquire. However,
Make it again.
the person who wins the lottery or hits a crypto pump and then loses all of the money, they do get depressed. They do get suicidal because it was blind luck, because they don't have the skills to acquire. So you need to understand that it's all about, for you, if you're listening to this, build the skills. Don't rely on getting lucky or finding the right match on Tinder. It's acting as if you are the most fuckable man on the planet. And it's not some woo abstract stuff like law of attraction, sit cross-legged in your kitchen and tell yourself you're worth it. It's not that. But when you do tell yourself you're the most fuckable man on the planet and you start to act that way, then your habits reflect the person you want to be. It's like, well, if I was really the most fuckable man on the planet, I'd probably be in better shape. I'd probably dress better. I'd probably learn a language or two. I'd probably get some experience traveling around the world. You reverse engineer it. That's, for me, how the law of attraction should be used. You tell yourself what you want, and then you act as if you already have it. It's like the Bible says, pray as if it's already happened, right? All we are is what we practice. So if you practice being confident for a year, this is why I don't subscribe to introvert or extrovert. Like, all we are is repeated patterns of behavior that we've accepted over time as our identities. And our identity then gets solidified in the language that we use. Oh, I'm an introvert. Well, too fucking right you are, because that's a label that you're putting on yourself. You are what you practice. If you approach one new girl every day for the next year, I guarantee you would start to display more tendencies of extroversion. So, yeah, for any people who are putting labels on themselves, start putting better labels on yourself, which actually springboard you towards success rather than leaving you crippled in the black pill rabbit hole.
No, I do think that there is a concept of introvert and extrovert. But the thing is, if somebody is introvert, he can change himself to in that extrovert kind of behavior, get the things done and everything. For example, I'm introvert, but when it comes to game and everything, picking up girls or coaching and approaching girls and everything, I can turn myself into extrovert kind of person. If I have to get the things done, I have to make contacts, links and everything, I can get myself extrovert and get the things done. But if I have to stay like 1 week in my apartment and work, I can stay. I have not too much problem or something like that. I am not like desperate to go out and meet people. So that's something. uh, for example, my old business partner, he's not like working with me, he left. He was highly extrovert, and he just need to meet his friends and he has to go out. For example, when I was jobless and all my girls, I was just staying at home, cooking something and then watching a movie in the evening and just chilling out or something like that, and next day another girl, and next day another girl, something like that. He was extrovert, he has to go out with his girlfriend, he has to meet friends. So there is, I see, like there is some personality traits they people have. But if I would stay always introvert, I wouldn't be in this position right now I am. So I have to change it, because I'm an introvert, love to play games and my IT job, and when I come back and playing like games, I'm not going to get laid. So I
Yeah.
changed it, and yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do believe that we are all omniverts, right? I do believe that we have the capacity to become either or. Because, for example, like just purely from my perspective, like I was saying at the start, when I was 13 years old, very high social anxiety, I would actually describe myself, if we're going to use the labels, more of an introvert by nature. I'm an only child. I don't really like being around people for an extended amount of time. When I was at school and the teacher would put me on the spot to answer a question, I would break out into these sweating fits. And that was difficult for me early on because it really made me distaste the spotlight. I hated attention. I hated being seen. I hated being noticed. But if you were to meet me today, you'd think, this guy's full of himself. This guy loves the spotlight. He's an extrovert by nature. One of my favorite things to do is just disappear for a month and spend all of that time on my own. I was out for a month on my own in Bucharest, so I had projects
Hmm.
that I wanted to build. So I decided to go to Bucharest to just get away from everybody. There was no time in that the time that I spent there where I needed anybody else because I was so fulfilled with the purpose that I was out there for, which was to create like video. It's very therapeutic for me creating content, right? So like I was my own source of pleasure in many ways. But point being, it's like that's why I always struggle with those concepts because by nature, if we are going to use these terms, I'm introverted, right? I love being on my own, but I've trained myself, like we are what we practice. I've trained myself through 10 years, right? That's a decade of putting myself through the social fire to be able to play in both camps. Like I can go, and this is why I think if you look at this is blowing smoke up my own ass, but I like doing it. If you look at my infield content, I am, in my opinion, the only person who can display such a level of versatility, right? If you look at most like infields, the guy's either high energy or low energy. He might be serious, he might be playful, he might be logical, all of that. I'm all of that because I had to be. When I was performing Magic, I was performing at so many events in so many
Hmm.
cities, so many people. I became the social chameleon. So if you look at my infields, I can be playful, I can be seductive, I can go low energy, I can go high energy. I'm always asking myself, what does the moment want? I can have deep esoteric chats or quick fire conversations which are very sexually charged. That level of versatility has come from purely from batting practice, a decade of putting myself through the social fire. And that's why for me, I've always had a problem when people do put a cap on their own capabilities, because I guarantee if you had my life, you'd be exactly the same. So I just find it interesting when people do put those labels because I think it's you are what you practice.
Yeah, but I think like there is slightly in the sense like the action that we take. So some guys, for example, like for me, when it comes to, for example, if you are extrovert, then it is easy for you to make, that's social media content. It is slightly easier. Instagram reels and this and that and that. If you're introvert, then for example, for me, I have to do extra step to do these things. I have to again this fucking reel, okay, better get some guy who is doing for me, but sometimes you cannot do it like that. So that is something I have seen, like there are some guys who are extrovert, they can do these things much easier and they enjoy it. I just, I have to force myself. So some things I definitely think that affect. I can still do it, but I have to just get out of my comfort zone and, like, you know, push
So
through it.
that's the same for me as well. Every time I know I need to make a video, I'm not in the mood to do it. That's not got anything to do with introversion or extroversion. That's resistance. You should read the book The War on Art by Stephen Pressfield. What you're experiencing there has got nothing to do with introversion or extroversion. It's down to resistance to doing a difficult task. I don't want to sit here in my apartment and make a 20-minute video where I keep saying the wrong things. My mind perceived difficulty there. I'm not springing out of bed thinking, mate, I can't wait to make these fucking shorts today. It's the last thing that I want to do. The last thing that I want to do is actually make the thing. But once I'm actually making the thing and I've got momentum behind me, which is what guys need when they're going out there and cold approaching girls. Yeah, of course your first one was shit. You haven't warmed up yet. It's like you won't go to the gym and immediately deadlift 200 kg. You need to get yourself warmed up. So yeah, look, this this is not a debate. This is simply they're throwing ideas back and forward. But I think what you're experiencing is resistance, which is what most creators, I'd say every creator, is experiencing. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do the hard fucking work. It's hard work. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe like it can be, but anyway. So we have a
We'll agree
question.
to disagree, Deepak.
Hmm?
We'll agree to disagree.
No, I will not be agreeing to this thing because I definitely see there is a concept because I have worked with so many guys and I have meet some guys also who are naturally extrovert. I have meet some guys who are introvert. So I definitely see there is a level of resistance is there. But I mean, in one way you are also correct. But the thing is like for the extrovert guy, it is an easy job. He just can do it. So there are definitely in the community also they are like kind of person who for example they love to go out all the time and do filming their life and everything, this and that and posting it, and it is easy because they're extrovert, they can do it. And I, if I say like, and I have to post reel, I'm working for example, then there is not too much I can post from my, you know, I cannot post like bedroom scenes from my girls or something. I don't want to, like, you know. So I play a very different kind. I just don't go out too much. I go out when it is required, coaching and everything. So it's slightly, I see there is a slightly in personality there is a difference. But if it is like a life and death situation, I can do it. So in like for example this YouTube thing I'm doing since 2013. So it was a struggle for me to do, but I just force myself and now I can do it, this YouTube thing. So but the other guy, for example, other guy, for it was interesting for me to make a YouTube content and everything. I have to focus, write a script proper, everything, you know, need to be perfect or something like properly. And my other business partner, oh, what video? What is that? Blah, 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 blah. He just speak. And I said, like, "Ah, dude, like how you can do it? I cannot do like this." So there is definitely an element of this, you know, personality
You
traits
know,
are there.
that's why I said we will agree to disagree. That was the point. We'll agree to disagree. Like that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have this question: what are your take on red pill and dating coaches who don't show results but just like to talk? Yeah. What do you think?
Classic question. Don't listen to them. There you go. That's my best advice. No, look, the red pill, like I was saying to you before, I like to take inspiration from everybody. I don't like to just be like, that's bullshit, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. There are valuable lessons that you can take from everybody. Problem that I have with the red pill community, which harkens back to a discussion we were having earlier, is extremist red pillars. All they want to preach is ignore women for years, right? Like I was saying to you before, that a guy should try and get himself to, let's say, a 5 out of 10 across the board before he starts submerging himself in the world of seduction. So he's actually got some value to give, right? The problem that I have with the red pill community, especially the extremist right-wing side of the red pill, is they will preach to guys that you have to ignore women until you get to 35 years old, you become a high-value man, you're making 7 trillion a year, and then, this is the worst bit, build it, and they will come. And do you know what's the tragic thing is, right? The worst thing a man can do is ignore women for years. He gets to 35 years old, he's got everything sorted, he's a 10 out of 10 in most areas, and then he gets his heart broken by a woman. That guy is going down a dangerous path because he's been brainwashed by the brain dead into believing that these materialistic trappings are going to give him the love from the feminine. But what that guy lacks is experience in the sexual marketplace. He's never had to deal with rejection if he's never been putting himself out there before. So the point I was making before, just to show that I'm not contradicting myself, is my point was, if you are, let's say, sub 5 at the moment, where you look like shit, you're just out of shape, you're overweight, you're not making any money, you're just an absolute fucking pauper, then yes, get yourself up to base level where you are a respectable man in the community, right? Maybe you've got a part-time job, you know, you're doing bits, you know, you're in the becoming, not the being. But to subscribe to the ideology that you should ignore women until you become, and it's really cringy, a high value man, whatever the fuck that even means, is horseshit, and it's a dangerous ideology for young men to subscribe to. So I think young men need experience with the feminine early on. Every young man needs to get his heart broken at an early age, right? I was 18 years old when I went through my first breakup, right? With your first breakup, and that sets you up for the future, right? Then you learn about yourself. I was absolutely heartbroken, mate. Like, it was absolutely
Hmm.
fucking horrible. It was embarrassing. And then you learn though, right? But like, if I'd not gone through any of that at like 18, 19, and my first experience of turmoil with the feminine came at 38, mate, I don't think I would realistically be able to bounce back from that. So that's my thoughts on the red pill. Listen to some of the advice. The thing with the red pill, yeah, improve yourself as a man, but for fuck's sake, don't ignore women until you're 35.
Yeah, you are right. I mean, like people should not ignore, and I see like I mean we can learn. I will not completely like disqualify them. We can learn from everyone, from red pill guys. I started a series like real pill, but I just can't able to because of health issues. I was not able to do it because the red pill is like more, some are like very theoretical, like they are like guys sitting in the apartment and just I don't want to tell their name or something, but it should be practical. It should be like we can take some concepts from them, but what is practically applicable? Because there was a one guy who said that there is a video, and I do respect him, but he said you should never date a girl who has tattoo. And I said, like, because if the girl is having tattoo, then she's a whore and all this. And I said, like, sometimes the girls don't know what they want. Then it's maybe 17-year-old, she make a small tattoo, and now she's like labeled as like, slut for whole life. This is like
Yeah.
completely BS. So it should be a kind of more practical thing. You cannot just like, and sometimes they say like you should not never date a girl who is below 25. Now, okay, I understand if a guy is like 45 or 50-year-old, or like 45-year or 40-year-old, and like searching for 23, 22, and in this time 23, 22-year-old girl, like with this all this Instagram and all attention, she's not ready for a relationship. We will get a girl in some village or what, going in Afghanistan and getting some girl there or what? Like
It's a
you're living
difficult
in,
place to Daygame there,
no,
mate.
yeah, but like how you do it, like sometimes like in London or in Berlin, and like where they're exposed to it, or like in New York, then just you should not date a girl who is like above 25, because because her brain is changed. And but in reality, the guys, maybe very high value guys, they can afford to do it because they have a status and all. But normal guy, they should be more flexible, so it should be a more practical kind of advice.
Yeah,
That's why I make the series real pill. I just can't able to continue, but I said we should take some ideas from there, but it should be a practical.
yeah, and finding what actually applies to you as well. I think there's a lot of guys in this world who they never ask themselves what do they actually want, right? Not what they feel as though they want to want because it makes them look cool. Like what do they actually want, right? Because I think a lot of guys are wanting to want things that other guys want to want just because it makes them look cool, right? Like you'll get like guys like, oh, I want to have multiple wives. Why do you want that? Because their favorite influencer has told them that that's what they want to want. If they want to emulate this figure, then they need to want that. But inside, they might just want a beautiful girlfriend who just loves them for who they are rather than what they have. I think that's the problem with the manosphere. I think guys subscribe to ideologies that they don't fully believe in, but because it makes them look cool, right? It's like, I might want to start being a professional basketball player, let's say, because I've got a lot of black friends and I want to be accepted into the tribe. I want to be accepted by these guys. I'm like, I need to learn basketball just to fit in with these guys. I might want to become a fucking fisherman. I just might want to go to Thailand and angle all day. But because of the things that you're consuming, you almost lose yourself in the stupidity, right? So I think an important question that guys should ask themselves every day, actually, like I try and do it every day. I'm not always consistent with it, but just sit down with yourself, pen and paper, and just say like, what do I actually want? Like write down like what your ideal reality actually looks like how much money you want to be making, how many women you want. It might be one, it might be two, it might be three. There's no right answer. It's what you actually want. Where do you want to be living? How do you want to be making your money? What does your mental health look like? What's your relationship like with your family? It's what you want, not what some bloke sat in his fucking armchair is telling you what you need to want. It's like what you actually want, because that will set you free when you actually know who you are and where you're going.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's like, that's the what we want, and having realistic expectation. Like, sometimes I say to the guys, but it is very tough to get it. Like, know your SMP, like
Definitely.
know your value, then having a bit slightly more realistic expectation when you're gaming. If the guy is like two and he just like, oh, I want to learn game and I want this, like, I saw this Paris catwalk model, I will just, and like you, and then they do game, oh, the game don't work, dude, like
Right.
this is not how it is. You what is your realistic, you are way up, like you are too much entitled. You have to understand like what is your what you can realistically get. That comes with experience, that comes with lot of like, you are in the field in the start. For example, the guys need to have experience in game, then they will get the idea, okay, this is the realistically I can get, okay, this is the part, if I can improve in my looks, then I can get a bit better, this, I mean, I have done like so much like research in this thing, even for myself, like exactly which body part I train, I can get results. I have gone to very micro detail, so I know exactly what I'm capable of. But again, I like a lot of experience, lot of hit and trial, in the game, and I love the game. So guys need to have some kind of realistic expectations in the game
Yeah.
when they are learning.
Yeah, I would say realistically, because I've seen some content which is like any man can go from a 3 to a 10 or some shit like that. Which is just like, I mean, come on, a 3 to a 10, that's fucking like, unless you're getting like some surgery done. I've also worked with guys who've had surgery, but maybe that's a conversation for another time.
With
But
surgery, you cannot get it. 10, I don't know. From 3 to 10 with surgery, I don't know.
yeah. But I would say, realistically speaking, it's within the power of any man to add at least 2 points to himself. 3, I think you can definitely do. It just takes more work, right? So if you're currently sat at, let's say, a 6, I do believe you can get yourself to a 9, but I do believe you also need to bring some sort of status into the game if you're going to elevate to like that upper echelon. I think you do need a level of status there. But let's say you're currently sat at a 5, which is actually, I would say when I first started, if I'm being completely honest with myself, I would say I was about a 4.8. If I'm being completely honest, it pains me to say, but when I first started game, you can look back at my other videos, like I've already told you boys to do. Look at like the Manchester videos, especially. I was like absolute horseshit, right? So I would say like a 4.8. Maybe my social skills got me up to like a 5.5, but I wasn't getting looks from girls. I wasn't what I would say a fuckable man. I've added to myself to the point now where like it's narcissism. But I do believe I'm leaving the house. I'm like, yeah, mate, I just tell myself I'm a fucking 10, and the world reflects it. The world is your mirror. It really is. But that belief is not come from blind optimism.
No, you worked on it.
Yeah,
no, you worked hard.
That belief has come through like pure 2.5 years of dedication. And do you know what's interesting as well? What's allowed me to accelerate my progress the most has been actually documenting my journey on YouTube. Like I would get so many comments back in the day when I first started, hate comments, which were like, you're ugly, you look like shit, I can't believe this guy's actually doing it. What does he think he's going to do? I had guys tell me I was a 4 at best. And I think lesser men would have got affected by this and it would have made them stop. I don't know if it's something within me, which is just this like, no matter what, I'm going to prove you fucking wrong. I think revenge can be an amazing motivator. But whenever I got those comments, I just knew in myself that the rate that I was going, I was destined for really good things. So whenever I was getting those hate comments, it was always, yeah, fuck you, I'll see you in 2 years. Yeah, fuck you, I'll see you in 2 years. And now where I'm at, And look, I'm far from the finished product, right? I've still got a lot of growing to do. I've stripped back a lot of my own bullshit. I'm far less reactionary now with the comments. But in the early days, I think putting myself on YouTube, documenting, I think I'm one of the only people who was documenting from like 3 months after I started Daygame. I was making videos. So you can see like my old videos from where I started.
Okay.
Type in Leeds, Leeds, Daygame, you'll find my old infields. But by documenting, by doing the thing, Daygame, which is fucking difficult, but then by documenting it on YouTube for the whole world to criticize you, I just built this bulletproof bravado, right? And it was just a case of now where I am. That's the character that I was talking about before. It's like, yeah, I might look better now, but if I didn't have the character, if I didn't go through the shit where I was having to deal with criticism on a daily basis, I wouldn't be where I am now. And I wouldn't be the person that I am if it hadn't been for those hate comments. So now I don't even see it. Like, it's like Shakespeare said, nothing's good or bad, but thinking that makes it so. So they weren't actually hate comments, which I now understand. They were just comments. Someone said a thing and it upset me. Right. And that's what I was saying to you earlier as well about you have to be a savage with this. This is not for the faint hearted. There's no perks of being a wallflower.
Yeah, being you are,
you're going to get your ego fucking capitulated, mate. If it's not the girls out there, it's the fucking trolls on the internet. So you better be ready for it. That's literally one of the first things that I will say to a guy before I've even accepted him to work with me. It's a case of, you better be fucking ready for this battle. You better be ready to die multiple deaths if you're serious about this, because they're the only guys I want to work with. And that's why the results that I get with the guys are so good, because they're vetted. Because I need that guy who's by my side when I'm coaching him. I need to think I can go to war with this man and he's going to be there by my side, like brothers in arms. I'm not working with guys who are just absolute little pussies. Oh, no, Kristian, I'm not ready for this. You knew what you signed up to. It's like complaining that you got wet if you want to be a swimmer. You knew what you signed up to. So we're either going to do this 100% or we're not going to do it. If you're not fully committed, do not apply to work with me because you're wasting my time, right? So, yeah, you got to be a savage with this. You've got to be as on it as I am. And they're the guys. I'm very specific about my avatar. You need to be on it. You need to be a savage. And you need to be ready to fucking get your bollocks absolutely rinsed.
Yeah, you're right. There's a can a 7 guy get 10? I know a below average Chinese jawless dork. I mean, the thing is, if you this is how I see with this question. Like with a good game, you can get, I will say, with a good game, first of all, level up your SMB as much as possible. Learn the game. With a good game, you can get equal and like one level above, you can get something like that. But it is not going to be.
Depends on the time of the month. She just might be really in the mood. Like, I know girls who just love fucking ugly guys, like really attractive girls. They just get off on fucking ugly guys.
That also, but in the sense, like it is not going to, like, more higher you go with the level of like points in the girl, tougher the game, tougher the things will be. So for example, a 8 or 7 will be easier, but if you go for 10, they're gonna be very, very tough because they are getting attention from all over the world,
But
and
a 10 though, a 10 is like, for me anyway, a 10 is like celebrity status, right? And I will put this on camera because I see far too many other fucking coaches being like, oh, I bagged a 10. Like, no, you didn't. I've never been with a 10. I'm not banging Ariana Grande, and you're not either. So let's just stop being stupid. Let's just stop being stupid about the numbers that we're saying we're pulling. I would say on my best day, I could probably get an 8.5 at best. Like 8.5. I think that's a fair appraisal of my current ability. 26-year-old, looking the way that I do, the character that I've built, and that's on a good day, all right? Like 8.5 or maybe an 8.8, but no one's making these fucking videos is getting 10s. I'm telling you right now. So let's just stop this whole fallacy. I'm not banging 10s. I'm not banging Ariana Grande or the fucking Queen of Venezuela. They probably don't have a queen. But so to point being, I'm saying this for you guys to actually have, like you were saying, realistic expectations. If you're consistently pulling 8s, 8.5s from cold approach, mate, you are literally in the top 1% of guys who do this, right? So realistic expectation. If you're a 7 right now, you can get that like that 8.5, right? You can get her. You realistically can do it.
It's like luck is
10s,
involved. You need to have some luck involved also. Like
yeah,
it's
I
not
agree.
like you just get on consistent basis, but it's
No,
game and
but
luck
yeah,
both need to be.
and be in the right location helps as well.
Yeah,
Like if you're
yeah,
leveraging your relative value, you know,
yeah. That's
you're
also, yeah.
gonna,
So because
yeah,
so yeah, that's the thing. Like in this thing, you can get this is how I see, like whatever your looks are, you're getting girls better above your looks. Then I will say like good game. I will also say in a way that you able to build an intimacy with the with the girls on consistent basis, not like just like not like getting late, because getting late requires a lot of logistical things and all. But if you able to build intimacy with, you approach the girl and you're able to escalate and build having that intimacy at the end of interaction on consistent basis,
yeah.
because then more and more girls are likely to meet, and it is very easy for you to get laid then. So that I say the good game, you know.
Yeah, I think the word that you use there, intimacy, is so good because that is what guys are craving. I'm sick to death now of guys being like, all this is about is getting laid. If that was the case, you would hire a prostitute. Let's stop saying that it's just all about getting laid. It's you want the intimacy, right? You want that woman to want you. That's what you want. If you're paying a fucking prostitute, she don't want you. She wants your fucking money. So yeah, you're right. It's the intimacy. It's the relationship that you can actually build with that woman, which supersedes just one night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so so we have my okay, she's looking, they're asking my lay count. So I have I already made a video about my
The
lay
classic,
count.
mate.
I already made a video about my lay count actually.
Oh, yeah.
There's on the channel, and I'm the guy who actually able to, because people can say whatever they want, you
Mm,
know, their lay count, you know, like they are like some autistic guys.
mm,
If you're in Brazil, then you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
He can say, but you know, when it comes to proof, I made actually a video about at that time YouTube was very reluctant, so showing real girls in my bedroom. It was in 2019, just before the YouTube got strict. So
Mm,
the video was there. So like ugly guy got like 200 girls in a year, something like this. So I literally show not like pictures. I literally show the proof of the girls in my bedroom or something.
mm.
So, but anyway, like, you know, that old days are gone. I'm not like really like, you know, feeding my ego or something like that.
But it's
I'm
yeah, it's
gone.
one, it's one of those, mate. Where I just think these guys don't understand. There is this concept which has been around for a long time, and it's called lying, right? So they just don't understand that when they ask a guy that question, mate, like you're never really gonna get the true answer. So stop asking it. Stop being so overly concerned with what some random bloke's lay count is, and focus on your fucking self because it
Yeah,
makes
look,
no difference to your life if it's 100, 200, 5. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, why are you asking the question? You don't really care. But yeah,
look the quality of content, look the infields that are more important. Look at the like students are getting success. I mean, I have shown, I don't want to like, you know, brag in front of my
do it,
guests. You
do it,
know,
mate.
so I have shown like complete like approach to making girls as in my life, like multiple dates. There are like some videos, infield videos of me like approaching the girl and complete like showing the approach. And my new product actually I have shown, I'm showing how I got a girl, how I got my multiple girlfriends. So I'm showing the complete approach and everything. People can learn in the dating in fields domination. People can learn specifically like getting laid is okay, I can do it, but how to get a girlfriend, how to build that kind of emotional intimacy, emotional connection with the girl, at the same time escalating girls in different scenarios, like not like one girlfriend I got with a different situation, another girlfriend I got in a different situation. So you see like different things. So use the quality of infield. That is that I can say whatever I want, and anybody can say lay count, but you see the quality of infield. That is,
Definitely.
I have already made the video about lay count, but still it's the quality of infield, quality of teaching, quality of game, students getting success and everything, uh, that do matters at the end.
Yeah, look, credibility is always conveyed through the character, right? It's like, like you really, you just know who's getting laid and who isn't, right? And it's like, if you meet somebody and you look at them, you spend time with them, you're just like, yeah, this guy fucks a lot. You just know. Like, you never ask someone like straight up in person, yo, bro, like, what's your, like, you don't need to ask them because you already know it's going to be at a level which is probably higher than your own. It's like the proof is in the pudding, as we say in England. Like, you're not asking that question because you care about the answer. Focus on yourself and
Yeah.
understand that it will never be enough anyway. Whether it's 500, 1,000, it's never going to say shit. Yeah. So stop asking, put yourself out there, be social, meet a lot of people, get off the fucking internet for a little while. Your life will be sweet. You don't need to know some random bloke's lay count.
Yeah, I mean, like that's okay. The Locario, I know this guy actually, Mr. Locario. I don't know if you know this guy.
Who the fuck is that? No idea, mate.
There is also a dating coach in USA. He's a
All right.
black,
All right.
but
Yeah. I'll happily stream with anybody. Yeah.
let's see. Uh,
But
so yeah, it was.
if you want to see a live stream of me and Mr. Lucario, a random internet stranger, then get Mr. Lucario to DM me because I've no fucking idea who he is. So yeah, just tell him and I'll be there.
No, yeah, let's see. Like, so, so yeah, like that's. If you want to say anything, what like, what's your YouTube, your Instagram, anything you can tell, what you offer
Yeah, I'll
about
finish
your
off.
services.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Kristian Kasanova. But no, I just like to conclude this conversation just saying, like, just again, just massive thank you to you. Like I say, I didn't have a fucking clue who you were. Like a day ago, got an email from you. And yeah, I feel really honored. Like, I feel as though, like, obviously this is the first time that we've actually spoke properly. So I think it's nice for the guys to actually just see us collaborate. Organically, like no prep involved, just like actual. I think there's been a nice flow to this conversation because sometimes when I listen to like podcasts, which is basically what this is, it feels very structured and regimented. But I think we've been able to like mentally spar
Go
with
with the
each other.
flow.
Yeah, but like mentally spar where like I put ideas forward, you put ideas forward, you said something, and I thought, oh, maybe yeah, that's a good idea. And it's then synced into my mental tapestry. I'll go away, I'll think about it, I'll think, oh, how could I apply that to me? So I would say as a final practical point for guys listening, get yourself a solid masculine support network of like-minded guys. Like these are the sort of conversations that you need to be having, not pointless YouTube comment section with anonymous trolls. Get a good tribe. I would say 5 like-minded, radically ambitious guys who you can actually level up with, because I think that's lacking these days. Guys who don't have a good group of friends around them, guys that they can actually get challenged by and give them no bullshit feedback, rather than, oh, what do you want to do this weekend? Oh, let's go get drunk again at Weatherspoons. It's like, no, like these are conversations like this 2-hour conversation that me and you have had. It will change lives around the world, and it also make us feel better as people because we've been able to share an experience that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So yeah, that's the final thing I want to say. If people want to find me, they'll find me. If they don't, then they fucking don't. But yeah,
No,
I
it's all good.
just thank you to you, because I do really appreciate you've been in this game longer than I have, and for you to identify something within me that made you think, yeah, I'd like to talk to this guy for a couple of hours. Like, I feel truly honored by that. So thank you.
No problem, and thanks for you being here also in my stream.
No,
So,
my pleasure, mate. I'm more than happy to do another one with you in the future whenever you want.
yeah, we can do in the future. It was a good, actually, good conversation, actually, very productive, actually.
Yeah.
So there's a same delay or exchanging numbers, girls flaking a lot. I say like getting same delay is also essential because you people need to learn from approach to sex and do this process again and again. So same delay is easier actually when you're getting slightly at upper intermediate level compared to getting the number and getting the girl from number to meeting for date. So same delay will be slightly easier. So practice same delay and then I will
Yeah.
say.
and go to somebody where same day lays are going to be more optimal, mate. In
Yeah,
Thailand,
logistically, if it
it's
is.
the order. It's the order of the day. It's like weird if you set up a date. It's like, no, I'm ready now. Let's go. So leverage
Yeah,
that.
logistically, if it is possible, if the girl has no time, then you cannot. But if you have time, the girl has time, then you have to go for the pull.
Yeah,
Okay.
People have got plenty of time in Thailand. Get yourself there.
Where? Thailand?
Yeah,
Where?
Thailand. In Bangkok.
Okay.
All they've got is time.
Yeah. Okay, Kristian. Your name is Kristian.
Yeah.
Kristian. Okay, then take care, man. Thanks for being here, and I really appreciate. And okay, I'm ending the broadcast now. Wait a minute. And now.